let down, leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that needle.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
You see the European grill, so the lips glitz. Tank full of Theraflu, cause I be in them sick whips. Brick slip, roll with me, catch a contact. High definition popping, flipping out the armrest. See, I'm a rider, dipping in the catalog. Just got it fitted on some shit I need a ladder for. Come up in your hood stunting when I leave, dude.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
I can't deny, I feel I'm such a fly guy. Top chop, call him Sleepy Hollow when they ride by. I know the haters can't stand it. I ain't got a blemish on my Jolly Rancher candy. Ride on, ride, top let down. Weaving through the crowd with the bass up loud. Just slide, glide on the slab when I creep. Take a bath or you put your ass on them seats. Ride, got the top let down. Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that leader.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
Ride, got the top let down. Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that leader.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
Yeah, I hope you got big lungs if you're rolling with me. I roll quickly, roll minute, plus I'm rolling sticky. Hit the road with me, only push it to the 50, cruising through your city, super sharp, fresh fitted. Hey, too cold with it. Check out the interior, it's hater meeting. Chalkboard material, get it? Then fuck it. Hey, roll another blunt up, hit patchwork, roll and fuck with Nico till that sun's up. Hit like nunchucks, he can't stop that. A Lamborghini door,
Swinging with top spec.
hey, clear the way, clear the lane. I'm topless, different from them laws. Want no dogs in my cockpit. Plus I'm throwed off, ain't got my load off. Got about 4 elbows and a quota that no soft. Enough to get me shook up, but now I got the cook up. And since they didn't book us, every time you look up, I'm riding. Got the top let down, leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that leader.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
Got the top let down, leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that leader.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
I ride, got the top let down, leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that leader.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
Say, man, hey, man, it's fight week, it's going down. And you know I had to come and, you know, hey, we going to get it in tonight. I'm dropping a leg for anybody that want to come up and cook because, you know, we going to build. We going to just do what's happening with it. My brother Just Do in the building. One of the best channels in YouTube by far. And, man, salute to Just Do, man. Keeping this boxing shit on YouTube alive, you know, doing it every day. Yeah, man, I love it, man. Real. Sway Jones in the building. What it do? What it do? Hey, let's kick it. Yeah. Hey, man, I hear a lot of people saying that it's salute. Gang over, salute. I hear a lot of people saying that this Devin Haney and Brian Norman fight need to be the main event. But you know what, man? I'm not tripping. I ain't tripping if it's I ain't really tripping. I feel what people saying, but then y'all gotta look at what David Benavidez has done. Like David Benavidez has earned being the main event. Like, you know, let's get away from all the hype around Devin Haney, Brian Norman, you know, and let's look at who's earned that main event spot. And if you look at it like that, without all the social media and the hype and everything, yeah, people are more focused on Brian Norman and Devin Haney. That's the bigger fight for the casual fans and the fans, and that's the bigger fight on the card. But you got to give it to the man that's earned it. Ain't nobody on that card done more than what David Benavidez done. Ain't nobody got a better resume than what David Benavidez got. You know, regardless of the undisputed, we know who done fought the real dogs, and that's David Benavidez. So you know, man, I'm not tripping. He deserved that spot. He deserved that spot. You know, so you got to give David BENAVIDEZ that spot. He's been doing it for a long time. So I get what people saying, what should be the main event, but we got to look past all the social media and hype and shit and give it to who deserve to have it. G5 Gay, what's happening with it? My brother in the building, taking care of them kids. Yeah. Tell the kids I said, what up, G5? Oh, man, the family good, dog. I can't complain, man. Kids getting big, smarter and smarter every day. And, you know, my daughter, man, she got a big cheerleading competition in California this weekend. So, you know, she already won first place a couple weeks ago. So, you know, that's going great. Rest of the kids, man, good. Everybody good, man. I can't complain. Oh, yeah, you know, I got to ride with B Norm, but we're going to get into that because this is the toughest fight of either fighter's career. This is the toughest fight for Brian Norman. This is the toughest fight that Devin Haney been in. And we're going to touch down on all of that for sure. But, man, y'all smash the like button. And if anybody want to come build, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to put the link in the chat. You put the link in the chat for anybody that want to come build. Let me see. Man, I ain't going to lie. I ain't been on here so long. I damn near forgot how to use this StreamYard. I logged on. They got all type of new updates, everything different. I said, damn, it's been that long. Let me damn. Let me cap this. Let me pin this link for anybody that want to cook. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I've been enjoying sitting back, watching, you know, the Just Dudes and salute to, you know what I'm saying, Claymore Rain. He got a hell of a show. You know, just watching the guys that really be cooking on this YouTube that come on every day that don't have no bullshit agenda, man. Like I just really got sick of, you know, trying to watch some of these dudes and their whole thing was to come on every day and just push some bullshit and agenda. So man, I like sitting back watching some of these other content creator shows, the one that's really doing it, you know, just for the love and you know, really keeping it real out here in these streets. But yeah, we gonna cook, man. I'm trying to figure out how to pin this. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to pin this thing. Hold on. So I go on YouTube, they got the whole setup looking different. I don't know what this is. So I'm looking at the setup on YouTube, and my shit don't even, it look way different. I don't know what's going on. Let me see this. Why my shit look like this? It's like in vertical mode, I guess. Yeah, man, what's up with this vertical mode? Like what I'm looking at on my joint, it look way different than what y'all looking at on YouTube. I ain't seen this before. Yeah, I'm lost. I'm gonna have to mess with this thing, man. I don't really like this. I'm not feeling this. But yeah, we definitely gonna cook, man. The first thing I want to touch on, right? Because I ain't been on here and I ain't really got to touch on, shit for a long time, man. Um, Everybody was talking about the whole Jerron Ortiz. Boots and Virgil Ortiz. Like, yeah, I cooked on it on the video, but I really want to cook on it real quick before we get into everything else that's going down, because I didn't get a chance to cook on that shit. The way I feel about that, right, is Virgil Ortiz. I seen the interview that he did, and shout out to Jamel Herring and his co-host. Hell of an interview. They got right to it. They didn't leave nothing on the table. You know what I'm saying? And I seen Virgil. He really, really showed that these fighters, they listen to the fans. And the shit that we say, it gets to them. Because Virgil was ready to just full-blown duck Boots. He was ready to full-blown duck Boots. And I think a lot of that shit was because of what his team was telling him, hyping him up like, oh, you ain't got to do this and you ain't got to do that, right? He was ready to full-blown duck Boots, but he seen that, hey, the fans in the boxing world wasn't trying to hear that shit, because he started off by making a bunch of excuses like, oh, well, I accepted the fight 2 times and now, I can do what I want to do, but ain't nobody talking about that. We talking about right now. You can't use that as the way to slide out the back door and escape. And so once he seen that Jamel Herring wasn't really trying to hear that, the co-host wasn't really trying to hear that, the callers that was calling in was on his helmet, then he backtracked, and then he was like, well, kind of, yeah, if it was up to me, I'll fight him right now. Yeah, that's who I want to fight. It started getting to him. It went from Errol Spence is my dream fight to a Errol Spence fight, I want Jerron Boots Ennis next. And it was kind of pushing him to make that decision, which, as a fighter and a fighter of Virgil Ortiz stature, that I think that Virgil is, I think that Virgil dog. You shouldn't have to push him to make that decision, right? I thought that, somebody on his level that got the mind frame that he got, that's shown that he willing and he want all the smoke, that he should have just right off the rip, you know what I'm saying? After they told each other what they said in the ring, both agreed to fight in the ring in front of the whole world. Right off the rip, he should have been like, hey, man, I told y'all on Saturday night, that's who I want to fight. And I'm not letting my team put nobody on the table. If it ain't Boots Ennis, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we wanted to hear. But he was on some other shit, and it made it look like it could be that he really didn't want no parts of Boots. All of that shit it sounded good into the time, you know what I'm saying, into the time came. A lot of shit sound good until it's time. Like, it's really, really time, right? It sound good when he in a different division, right? And he ain't moved up to 154 yet. It sound good when he move up and he kind of talking about, well, I want to see how I feel and take a fight before I fight Virgil. Now y'all pressing it, but now that both y'all free and you ain't got shit going on, he ain't got shit going on. Everybody else in the division that got belts, they tied up. Now it's kind of like, well, he had his chance to fight me. Nah, bro, we wasn't trying to hear that. And so ultimately, we got the answer from Virgil Ortiz that we wanted, kind of, because he told y'all that if it was up to him, right? If it was up to him, he would fight Boots next. But he then told us, well, That's me. That's my decision. But if it's my team, then I gotta go through my team, and it's more complicated shit than just us making a fight. Well, it's complicated because we all know, whether you not a Boots fan and you hate Boots, whether you a diehard Virgil Ortiz fan, one thing you gotta admit is Virgil Ortiz's team, his daddy don't want to fight. Oscar De La Hoya don't want to fight. His trainer don't want to fight because his trainer said, hey, I think they should, have like 2 more fights and then they can make the fight. Yeah, Robert Garcia don't want to fight. His manager don't want to fight. Like, nobody on his team want to fight. So he basically telling us that, yeah, I want to fight, but I got to go through my team. And he also said, that he does basically what his team tell him to do, right? Because Blue Blood called in, and shout out to Blue Blood, and he asked him directly, are you in charge? Are you the one that can say, look, this is the fight I want, and y'all got to make it happen? And what I got from what he said, because he answered it, but he didn't answer it directly. What I got from it is, no, he's not in charge, and he ain't on that level yet. And he got to pretty much do what his team tell him to do, right? And I get his team, right? Because I got to sit back and I got to look at the situation like a manager, right? Or a promoter, or somebody that has a fighter that has a lot of potential that I can make a lot of money off of, right? So if you look at it in a promoter's perspective, right? A manager's perspective, I would make the fight new. If I got to put him in there with Boots, because I'm gonna tell y'all, man, if you know boxing and you look at style matchups, it's a horrible style matchup for Virgil Ortiz. It's a great style matchup for Jaron Ennis. And let me say that again. It's just because of the style, right? Virgil Ortiz is a hell of a fighter. To me, Virgil is an A-level fighter for sure, right? But that style is not a good style for Virgil. You got to think, man, Boots can do everything that Virgil can do, but on a higher level. He's much faster than Virgil. He's much more athletic. You could say like everything, anything that Virgil can do, the power, the physical strength, the dog, the endurance, everything. Like, if you ask me, it's just a bad matchup for Virgil Ortiz. And if you stand in front of Boots, because Virgil gonna stand in front of you and he want to bang. That's the worst way to fight Boots. That's the worst way to fight Boots. If you standing in front of him and you want to bang like that, bro. I'm not putting Virgil Ortiz against Boots right now, neither, if I'm his promoter or manager, because you got to look at it. I got a potential superstar, right? He ain't had no championship title yet. He ain't won no belt yet. It's a lot of other guys in the division that they looking at like, okay, we could get a belt. We could pick him off. We could pick him. And I don't. Let me run that back a little bit, because it ain't picking off nobody at 154. Anybody that he fights at 154 pounds, he could take an L to. But Boots, to me, with the style that Boots has, is the most dangerous fighter that he can get in there with. The second most dangerous fighter, and he told y'all this himself if y'all watched the interview, is Sebastian Fundora. A lot of people sleeping on Sebastian Fundora. I think that because people rating Virgil Ortiz is the #1 fighter at 154. I don't know how he's getting that rating. You know what I'm saying? Salute. He didn't look good in his last 2 fights, but I don't know how you boosted him up to the #1 fighter at 154. when you still got Jermell Charlo that's told everybody he coming back to the weight division. But besides all that, you got Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora been wrecking shit. Like, I'm telling y'all, man, Fundora is a problem. Y'all can sleep on him if you want to. He is a problem for anybody in that weight division, including Boots. Now, yes, I do have Boots. To me, I think that Boots beat everybody in that weight division. He don't run through them, but I think that if I had to pick one fighter that will come out of 154 pounds, standing tall over everybody once all the dust cleared, I'm picking Boots. Now, there's an argument because 154 is full of a bunch of dogs. But Sebastian Fundora, to me, is the most dangerous fighter in that division. Straight up. He can punch you from the other side of the motherfucking street. Yeah, Sebastian Fundora, he hit you with a jab from down the block. You know what I'm saying? The nigga way in the kitchen and he hit niggas with 1-2s. Sebastian Fundora, he has learned how to box on the outside. He already knew how to box on the inside, and people don't realize that he was young coming up in the game. He was steady learning. He didn't fought the best fighters, and now he's seasoned. You know what I'm saying? He's getting better and better. Look how he ran through Tim Tszyu. Hey, he ran through Tim Tszyu like he was some wet tissue paper. But let me see what y'all talking about. And like Mark, hey, my man, what's happening with it? Mark in the building. Flawless mentality, elevation hosted by Dr. Mark, my man in the building. What's happening with it, brother? Let me see what y'all talking about. Man, gang over gang, man. Don't get all hyped over that Bakram shit. Like, man, y'all seen Bakram fight one fighter in Tim Tszyu, and y'all crown this man the most dangerous fighter at 154. How? Who he fought besides? You seen what Sebastian Fundora did to Tim Tszyu? Sebastian Fundora made that man not even want to fight no more. He was slanging them long pitches from the other side of the motherfucking mansion. Yeah, he was slanging them bitches from the other side of the mansion and didn't even, hey, Tim Tszyu was like, hey, I don't know where I'm getting hit at. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was in the locker room. This motherfucker hit me from the middle of the ring. Come on now. Bakram ain't fought nobody but Tim Tszyu, and that's it. Why y'all? That's what's. And I felt Virgil Ortiz when he said that he don't think Bakram is like that. Now I'm not saying he ain't like that, but the pedestal that everybody putting him on is just because they seen him, wreck some shit in one fight. Y'all gonna put him to the top of the line? Come on, man. Now, Jerome Boots in is going, man, he'll do something bad to Bakram. You cannot be a fighter that just want to stand in front of your opponent and really, bang, and think that you're going to be able to beat somebody like Jerron Ennis. You're not. You got to have levels and levels to your game to go in there and beat Boots. I think that Virgil Ortiz has levels to his game, but he don't have enough levels to his game to, mess with Boots. I think that the most difficult fighter that right now, if we're looking at the landscape of 154, that can give Boots problems and give anybody in that division problems, and he's steady getting better, is Sebastian Fundora. Come on now. It's Sebastian Fundora. My man anti-slob in hey, that's my boy right there in the building. Oh, you already know. Hey, I'll take your money. I don't have no problem I don't have no problem with taking niggas' money. I really don't. Hey, man, say, man, y'all smash that like button too. Smash the like button. I don't have no problem taking your bread. Because if you putting bread on the line at 154, when Boots get in the ring, hey, it's all money in, no money out. I'll take the free bread. Telling y'all, the toughest fight for Boots in that division is Sebastian Fundora. Let me see what y'all talking about. My man Unbiased, bring him in the building, man. He said Bill Haney sounded nervous today. He is nervous. Hey, he nervous for his boy. Because, see, this is the thing, man. Let's get straight to it. Let's Devin Haney, Brian Norman, what everybody want to talk about. It's great fights on that card, but everybody want to talk about Devin Haney and Brian Norman, so let's get straight to it. And if anybody want to cook, like I said, the link is in the chat. They got my YouTube on this horizontal shit. I don't know what this is, but yeah, the link in the chat is pinned right there on YouTube. And it's going down, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, what Unbiased Brim is saying, what a lot of people are saying is, hey, Bill, his energy a little different. His energy a little different because he know what's on the line. Now you see Brian Norman Sr., he walking around like he know his son finna put hands and feet all over Devin Haney. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. I'm saying that's his attitude. He walking around like, hey, my son finna put hands and feet all over this boy. And Bill is more nervous. But see, this is the thing, right? Hey, and you're gonna be giving me that free money too come Saturday. But look, check this out, man. This is the thing. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. Devin didn't talk a whole lot of shit. You see Brian Norman, he sit back, he cool, calm, he real G with the shit, he real player-like with it. Like, all right, he said, I'm a bum. All right, that's what's up. Y'all said I'm slow. Y'all said I ain't got no feet. All right, bet. But when I knock his ass out, am I going to be a bum then? See, Devin is doing too much of talking. Devin is putting pressure on Bill. He putting a lot of pressure on himself because he keep on telling you that Floyd Mayweather shit. You talking like Floyd, but let's just keep it real. Devin ain't Floyd. You talking like Floyd, but you're not Floyd, right? You're not on Floyd's level. It just is what it is. You ain't on Floyd Mayweather level, but you're talking like him. Talking like Floyd ain't gonna make you perform like Floyd Mayweather when you get in that ring. And I'm just keeping it buck. Hey, AB tried to talk and say the shit that Floyd did, but did he perform like Floyd? No. It's been a whole lot of fighters that want to regurgitate what Floyd say, what Roy Jones say, but they can't fight like them. And Devin is putting a lot of pressure on himself because he's telling you that this guy is a bum. I'm levels above him. And recently he said, hey, I'm going to do whatever I want to him, how I want to. When I decide to bang, I'm going to beat him banging. I'm going to beat him on the outside. I'm going to outbox him. Everything I do, I'm going to do better than him, and I'm going to show y'all. So now, if you going, I'm telling y'all, if Devin going there and he put up a weak-ass performance, ain't nobody going to accept that shit. Yeah, he could be confident. Of course you could be confident. But with that, right, with the type of, and I don't have no problem with that. See, Y'all taking what I'm saying wrong. I don't have a problem with Devin, with what Devin is saying. I'm just telling y'all with what he's saying, now he got to come and back that shit up, right? So he put pressure on himself. Now, because he gonna have to put up that type of performance. Because if he don't, everybody gonna be on his helmet. And a lot of y'all, right? A lot of y'all is banking on, well, Devin, and I'm not talking about nobody in particular, but I'm just speaking about what I'm hearing from the masses, right? Because I keep hearing a lot of y'all talk about, oh, Devin gonna box his head off and this and that, right? And what y'all banking on? Y'all banking on Devin Haney being able to go in there and use a lot of what he did against Jose Ramirez, right? Y'all don't think that Brian Norman is going to be able to catch up to Devin on the outside. He ain't going to, like, that shit ain't going to work. That's what I'm telling you. Like, if y'all think that that shit that he did against Jose Ramirez is going to work, it's not going to work. If y'all think that that shit that he did against Short Arms as Regis Prograis is going to work, it ain't going to work. I'm telling y'all. And once he feel that power, his whole mindset is going to change. I'm telling y'all, it's different. It's going to be different. Y'all sleeping on Brian Norman, man. Brian got feet. He can box. He got a jab. Y'all already know he got that power. And it's not going to be the fight that y'all thinking that it's going to be. Y'all thinking that, Devin just finna be able to, move around swiftly and use his jab, use his combinations, get in and get out and, smother Brian and wrap him up and hold him. That shit ain't gonna work. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. It's a different level of fighter that he's in with. It's different. It's not the Regis Prograis that he fought at 140 that we seen what Regis is now. I don't want to take nothing away from Devin because I think that Devin is a hell of a fighter for sure. I think that Devin is a A-level fighter. So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong with what I'm saying, right? This ain't me tearing Devin down because I think that he's an A-level fighter. But the shit that's worked against other fighters that he's been in the ring with, that shit is not going to work. It's not going to work. And at some point, he going to have to stand in there and fight. And he going to have to withstand that storm. If he's not able to do that, it's going to be a bad night. It's going to be a bad night. I talked about something in the video, right? Because Devin liked to say, who has Brian Norman fought? He don't know none of the guys that beat Norman fought. He said that he didn't fought all bums. And I'm not finna sit up here and tell y'all that Brian Norman has fought the best competition just because I rock with him. I ain't one of them dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna try to sell y'all some shit that's fake, right? I'm gonna keep it a buck. Brian Norman don't have no A-level resume. He got an all right resume as of lately, right? But Devin Haney ain't got no motherfucking A-level resume neither. You know what I'm saying? He got names on his resume, but was them names really like them names wasn't really like that when he fought him. Let's just keep it a buck. And Vasyl Lomachenko, great fighter. Great fighter. Great fighter at 126. Great fighter at 130 pounds. Lomachenko was never no great fighter at 135. He was small for that weight division. At 135, a lot of them fighters that he fought gave him problems. Let's just keep it a buck. Luke Campbell gave Lomachenko problems at 135. We see what Teofimo did. For everybody that's saying that Devin lost to Lomachenko, I don't know what's fuck wrong with y'all eyes, but I had Devin winning, beating Lomachenko 9-3. But it was a competitive fight. Every round was competitive. You know, it was competitive, but Devin was winning the rounds. He was doing enough to win the rounds. The rounds that were dominated by Lomachenko, but it was only 2 rounds he dominated, right? But with that being said, Lomachenko, if you look at his body of work at 135, he was never a dominant fighter at 135. He was dominant at 126. He was dominant at 130. 135, he was a good fighter. He was a championship level fighter. Wasn't dominant. That's the truth. You know, I mean, you could get mad if you want to. So who else he beat? Lomachenko was a real good win. George Kambosos, that shit was like George Kambosos trash. Like, come on, man. Ain't nobody looking at George Kambosos and thinking like, oh yeah, man, that was a hell of a win. Like that was he went out there and we respected him because all of the hoops that he had to go through to get that fight with George Kambosos. That's why I respected him, because he had to go through a lot of shit, go out to Australia, right? Take less money, come back and do it again. But he did it. He did it because he knew that he was really levels above George Kambosos. He knew that. He was levels above him. This ain't no George Kambosos. The Jose Linares. Come on, man. Jose Linares been washed up. Regis Prograis been washed up. So all I'm saying is now one of them got in there and just, besides Ryan, he fought Ryan Garcia. We know Ryan Garcia, yeah, he was off that shit. So that's why I'm not even mentioning the Ryan Garcia fight, right? But Devin has fought names. He's tried to fight a lot of the fighters that he couldn't get in the ring with. He tried to get a Gervonta Davis fight. That ain't his fault, right? So I mean, he tried to get a Teofimo Lopez fight, right? That ain't his fault that Teo ducked him, and that a lot of these fighters that he tried to get in with that had names ducked him, but he didn't fight him. So we can't live off of, we got to go by who he fought. So when we talk about who he fought, yeah, you got the accolades, but come on, man. This is 2025. A lot of this shit is a facade in boxing when it comes to these championship belts and these accolades, right? It just is what it is. Not to take nothing away from Devin, because like I said, man, hell of a fighter, but ain't now one of them really got in there. We ain't seen motherfucking Brian Norman in there, in a Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, or Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler type of opponent. We ain't seen Devin in there with him either, right? Devin's biggest fight, toughest fight on paper was Ryan Garcia. My man Anti-Slob say Devin got the best resume out of all his peers. Who is all his peers? I don't think and people know I don't rock with Tank. But does Devin Haney got a better resume than Tank? If you saying that's one of his peers, right? Because that was one of his peers. I think that Tank got a better resume than Devin. I think that we even though I don't rock with Tank got a better resume than Devin. I think I can say that, comfortably, that Tank got a better resume than Devin. Even though Tank deduct all the smoke in the world, he still got a better resume, because you gotta you gotta give him Barrios, you gotta give him Frank Martin, right? Lamont Roach. I think that Tank got a better resume. I think that he probably second to Tank. If you saying his peers, I think that if you saying Devin resume, I think he probably second to Tank. You know what I'm saying? I think that Devin is probably second to Tank. Yeah, it is a way. I think that you can't say that the fighters that Devin, because like I said, man, George Kambosos was some trash. Regis was washed up. Motherfucking Gamboa, him and Tank both fought Gamboa. Gamboa was washed up when Tank fought it, and he was more washed up when Devin fought it. Lenore has been washed up. You can say Loma. You can say Loma, but man, like I said, Lomachenko to me is a really good fighter at 135. Lomachenko ain't a great fighter at 135. He just ain't. And as far as I think that Shakur probably beat the toughest opponent out of all of them. Y'all gonna disagree and say it, but a lot of them cats ain't beating Zepeda. Zepeda is the tough fight. The motherfucker that throws 100 punches that's gonna keep coming, right? Keep coming, don't get tired. Like, that's a tough fight, man. Marcos Madonna type of fighter. Like, that's the type of fighter that Zepeda is. He just don't have the Marcos Madonna power. But he got power because you can't have a damn near 90% knockout ratio and don't have power. So I think that Shakur probably beat the most grittiest, toughest opponent out of all of them. Zepeda a tough fighter for all of them, especially if you decide to fight him like Shakur did. De Los Santos, I forgot about Edwin De Los Santos, right? So, you know, I mean, like when we start talking about all of these fighters' resume, it's an argument, but ain't now one of them got just a resume that stands out over the other fighter when it comes to competition. Yeah, we can talk about names all day. Do Devin got the better names on his resume? If we talking about names, we can say, yeah, but we talking about competition. What go down, right? What can that fighter do at that point in time in his career inside of that ring? That's all I'm talking about. I'm talking about the competition. I'm not talking about names, man. I don't get hyped off of names because a lot of these name fighters ain't shit. But if we want to say who got the best resume out of all of them, I have to say Tank. I have to say Devin, and then I have to say Shakur probably fought the toughest fighter out of all of them. The two toughest fighters. I think De Los Santos and Zepeda, but Zepeda more than De Los Santos. I think that I'm telling y'all, man, Zepeda is a tough fight for all of these cats. I'm not saying that he beats them all, but I'm saying that he's a tough fight, man. And if you slip up, you know, you can lose. So I think that, you know, when we talk about them guys, Zepeda is the toughest opponent out of all of them. When it's just, you know, the competition, why he is the toughest opponent out of all of them. Claymore Rain, man, what's happening, man? I was talking about you earlier, man. You was one of the channels, you and Just Do, that I named earlier, man, that I just like love to sit back and just watch because it's just great boxing content. It ain't no I'm going on here to tear a fighter down. I got this bullshit narrative that I'm trying to push. It's just straight up real boxing, you know. And so, you know, now I haven't been on here doing cut out for a minute. But what I was saying, now that I haven't been on here doing my live streams and, you know, doing this shit like that, I enjoy watching, you know, certain content creators. And, you know, you definitely one of them. You just do shit. You know, I watch Blue when he come on, and shit, bro, I don't really watch too much of other cats, man. Like niggas, yeah. A lot of this shit on YouTube be groupie shit. A lot of this shit be a bunch of grown ass niggas sitting around on some groupie shit, letting niggas feed them lies and false narratives and sitting around just trying to shit on, you know, other men, fighters, and people get off on that dumb bullshit. Like, man, miss me with all of that. But as far as these resumes go and all of that, bro, it's hard to say, my guy. It's hard to say, like, just hands down who got the best resume, because at the end of the day, if these fighters don't come together and all fight each other, that none of that shit matter, bro. All that shit is just smoke and mirrors. You know what I'm saying? That's why niggas be on Tank Head so much, because he was the one fighter that had the key to really be able to fight all these fighters and was scared to do it. Let's just call it like it is. He was scared to do it. He was scared to lose in front of the whole world. That's why somebody like me, I gotta respect the Brian Norman and the Devin Haney. Because Brian could be like, nah, I ain't fighting Devin. I can take the easier route and go fight a Mario Barrios. I know I can whoop him. Devin could be like, you know what? I ain't fighting Brian Norman. I could fight a Mario Barrios or one of these other cats. I'm just moving to the division. But both of them was like, you know what? I'm going to earn my bread. I want big bread. I want to have the big paydays, but I'm going to go earn the big payday. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to do no fugazi shit and try to cheat my way to big paydays. I'm going to get in that paint and I'm going to earn my shit. And that's what you got to respect. That's why I don't respect a lot of these content creators, because they shit on the fighters that's really about that action. They'll choose to shit on the fighter for other fighters that got popularity, but really don't want to, you know, give the fans no smoke, really don't want to get in there and earn their shit, don't have a real competition bone in their body when it comes to fighting the best. They want to get behind them type of fighters, but then shit on the fighters that's really out here, really doing it. And so, this fight, and like I said, man, if anybody want to come up here and cook, the link is pinned in the chat. The link is pinned in the chat if anybody want to come up here and cook. So, with all that being said, man, hey, I see a lot of, most people that I see, right, they're saying that Devin Haney outboxes Brian Norman, right? And I think what a lot of people is going off of is watching Brian Norman, right? Even though he won every round against Quentin Randall, watching him, you know, I'm not even gonna say struggle, watching him have a not so great performance against somebody in Quentin Randall that's a good boxer, but Devin Haney is levels above him, right? So y'all taking that. Watching him in another fighter that he another fight that he had against Boca Chica early on, right? Have a real tough competitive fight, right? But what y'all not understanding is that Brian has had hand surgery since then, right? He's 100% healthy, and he's come back and he's put on way different type of performances, because the main thing is Brian Norman was 21, 22 years old, and he was still growing. Brian Norman was young, hella young. He's still learning. He was still learning. Now Brian is coming into his own, right? He's been more active. He didn't travel around the world and took fights. He didn't raised up the level of his competition. And when you become a champion, your mentality changed, right? You focused on a different level because now you got some shit that everybody trying to take. Now everybody looking at you. Now the whole world is tuned in. Let me see if he really like that. Let's really put a microscope on him, right? And when you become a champion, if you really had that mindset, that's when you really start coming into your own and getting better and better and better. So you're looking at a 21-year-old Brian Norman, a 22-year-old Brian Norman that was still kind of trying to find his way, and y'all taking that. I'm telling y'all, it ain't gonna be what y'all think it's gonna be. And like I'm telling y'all, I think that he's going to go in there and hurt Devin Haney. He's gonna hurt Devin. Now, if he don't, give Devin his props. If Devin go out there and put on a hell of a performance and beat Brian, we got to give him his props. And if Devin go out there and fight his ass off and get put to sleep, I'm still gonna give him his props. I'm still gonna give him his props for going in there. But niggas is gonna be on his helmet because he put all that pressure on himself, and people gonna say, well, you got knocked out by a bum. You called him a bum. You said you was levels above him. So that's why you don't disrespect the fighter that you're getting in the ring with. Yeah, you could be confident, but call the fighter that you in a fight of this magnitude, calling the phone, that's disrespect. That's not confident. Right? Because if he's a bum and you this many levels above him, why would you choose to fight him? Why would you choose to fight him? Yeah, the link is pinned. I think you might have to yeah, it's in the chat. It should be pinned in the chat. Hold on. I'm gonna unpin it and I'm gonna pin it again. Okay. Yeah, I pinned it again. So y'all were saying earlier he can't be confident. I love a fighter that talk that shit and that's confident. But it's a thin line between being confident and disrespecting the fighter that you're getting in the ring with, right? Because if you really believe that he a bum, why are you fighting him? That's what people gonna ask. I think that's a way that I think that's a tactic that Devin uses to try to bring down the confidence of the fighter that he's going in the ring with, because he said the same shit about Ryan Garcia, right? He said the same shit about Ryan Garcia, but did he really believe that about Ryan? Because I don't think he believed that with Ryan because he had shared the ring with Ryan all through the amateurs, right? And we know how that went. It was back and forth. So how could you think he was a bum? And it's the same thing with Brian Norman, man. I think that Devin uses that to psych himself out, and he uses that to try to, get in the head of his opponent. But like I said, when you say that, it puts pressure on your own back, because now people are gonna be looking at that shit like, okay, he's a bum. And Devin Haney, diehard fans are not gonna look at it like that, right? But we all know it's a lot of people that hate Devin Haney. We had a motherfucking white dude, I don't know who it was. He made a whole 20-minute video on why he hates Devin Haney, which is weird as hell. That's some just weirdo shit, but that's YouTube for you, right? But a lot of people hate Devin Haney. So when you say that shit, if he don't do what he said he gonna do, we know what it's gonna be. Even if he win, even if he were to win and still did it in an ugly fashion, people gonna be, man, they gonna be slobbering at the mouth, ready to get on his helmet. So he's putting that pressure on himself, but maybe that's the way that he's able to perform better. Some athletes, they like to put pressure on themselves, right, to make themselves perform better. I don't know. I'm just telling y'all what it's gonna be. But what's happening? Claymore Rain in the building.
Was good. Keon was good, man. I see you was on the live, man. I had to come up, man, and build, man. I think it's a great topic you're talking about right now, because it sounds like you're talking about, you know, for me, the development of these fighters that we thought were going to be like the guys, right? And they kind of check those boxes, but matchmaking plays such an important role, right, on who these fighters end up being on these big shows. So now Devin Haney at 147 pounds, for me personally, as a boxing fan, I'm questioning the whole journey, right? And did Devin Haney taper off somewhere? Did the fights not become challenging enough for him to become a better fighter? When was the last great Devin Haney, and against who was he great against? One way or the other, right? Because this fighter, Brian Norman Jr., is a fighter who doesn't come with all of the shortcomings that there have been arguments for in the past that Devin's had with his opponents, right? Whether he's been bigger, taller, bigger reach, age, whatever it is they use. I'm always going to be a fan of the generational talent. So I am a fan of Devin Haney to a degree. But this moment right here seems to be the big litmus test, right? It seems to be the big culmination of us finding out for real, in real time, who Devin Haney is. In separating from who we've been saying he is, because he's accomplished great things. He became an undisputed champion, a young undisputed champion at 135. But we know George Kambosos wasn't a litmus test. It was just an opportunity for him to accomplish and get all those belts, and that was great. And then he went ahead and fought Lomachenko, and that was a good fight too. But a lot of people thought he lost that fight with Lomachenko. But you know, I'm not here or there with that. I'm okay. I thought just him competing 12 rounds with Lomachenko was credible enough. And then he went and he fought Regis Prograis. I don't know. It just seemed like Regis Prograis wasn't a real litmus test. Once again, an opportunity for him to become a champion. He took it and became a champion.
Clay, I want to ask you something real quick since you brought up Lomachenko. Do you think Lomachenko was a good fighter or a great fighter at 135?
I think when it was all said and done, he was a good fighter. I think we thought he was going to be a great fighter going into 135, but he didn't seem to check when it was all said and done. Now that he's retired, I don't know if he was a great fighter for me at 135.
I agree. I thought he was a great fighter, one of the all-time greats at 126 and 130. I thought he was a good fighter at 135. My man in the back, just turn your camera on real quick so I can see you. So, okay, you good. I just want to make sure with nobody, no funny shit. All right. You go ahead, Clay. Go ahead and cook.
Yeah. So, he got that victory with Lomachenko. And like you said, the Devin Haney fans, they want to celebrate him no matter what, which I guess I got no issue with for real. But I'm a boxing fan, and at the end of the day, going into this fight with Brian Norman, I mean, he went into let's continue the journey, right? So from Lomachenko, he comes over to Regis Prograis. He looks great against Regis Prograis, but Regis Prograis, short arms, not really good at cutting the ring off. Really just got outclassed for me, but still, I'm not going to take that away from him. But I'm trying to build this guy up to where we need to see him at right now with Brian Norman. He goes into the ring with Ryan Garcia. Goes for the money. Ryan Garcia is not old. He's got long arms. And to me, I don't rate Ryan Garcia as a world-class boxer. I'm going to be real with you. I think he's kind of domestic, kind of local, in my opinion. I haven't seen him do nothing spectacular. Last time I seen him do something spectacular was probably, I'll be honest with you, Luke Campbell. You know what I'm saying? And he did what he did against Devin. Devin got caught with the left hook. He was stretching out, reaching out with that jab, putting his right hand down too low and got caught. Okay, he takes a year off from boxing because this mentally did something to him, right? He decides to reinvent himself. He comes back, he fights Jose Ramirez, and he's on his legs. He doesn't want to, he seems reluctant to use the jab, right? The best weapon I think that most people talk about with Devin Haney is how he has one of the best jabs in boxing. He doesn't really use the jab like that against Jose Ramirez. Bill Haney takes all of the heat and says, that's not Devin's fault, that's me, right? So we can look away from that fight and try to give him some grace because he took a year off. But I got to be honest with you, Shane Mosley and a lot of the people from Devin Haney's camp were saying that they were expecting Devin Haney to knock out Jose Ramirez. So there's an argument there to say that something changed from the training camp to what happened inside that ring with Jose Ramirez.
I think he could have if he had the right mindset because he was levels above Jose Ramirez. That's why he was able to perform the way that he did, and it worked. That ain't gonna work against Brian Norman, but go ahead.
Right. No, I agree 100%. And also, just to go back a little bit to the Regis Prograis fight, he could have gotten Regis Prograis out there, but where was that killer instinct? That was what I walked away from that fight saying, great performance, but where's the killer instinct? I want to say that even though Regis Prograis was hurt and he could have got him out there, I believe there was a PTSD that's been inside of Devin Haney's mind since the Jorge Linares fight. And he's always been reluctant. And he didn't want to attack Regis Prograis because as much as he knew he had Regis Prograis hurt, he didn't even want to take a chance of getting clipped with something late. He wanted to close the show and not look that way, in my opinion. It is what it is, right?
Right. I think that, to me, right, everybody talk about when he got hurt against Jose Linares. To me, I thought that was Devin's best performance he ever put on.
It was.
Hey, to this day, that's my favorite performance to go back and watch Devin. He put on a fucking hell of a performance against Linares. Besides that one little mishap, but man, he put hands on him.
Would you agree that I think the reason, me personally, I agree with you, by the way, I think that was his best performance. And you know what I loved about that performance? His confidence. He was confident, but I'm telling you, after he got clipped, it got weird for Devin. Devin decided to be a safe fighter. He wasn't going to take those chances no more. And then he went against the grain with Ryan Garcia, and he tried to be confident, and he got clipped again. So now he goes from Ryan Garcia into Jose Ramirez, and he won't even flick the jab out there because he was so focused on not getting hit with that left hook, which I'm okay with. But again, going into this fight with Brian Norman Jr., how do we as fans metabolize all that? How do we process and digest everything that we've seen from Devin Haney over his past, I don't know, four or five fights, however many fights, to getting in the ring with a Brian Norman Jr. who he's clearly not gotten in the head of Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. is not drinking none of that Kool-Aid. He doesn't believe none of that. You're not going to convince him he's not on the level. He's not getting low under the lights. It doesn't seem like the pressure of the big stage is getting to him. He's been on a big stage. Jin Sasaki wasn't the best opponent, but it was a big stage, and it was out of the country, and he didn't care. He carried himself and did his thing out there. So that's not going to work. Devin's going to have to beat Brian Norman and potentially beat the best Brian Norman that we've ever seen because, like you said, between his experience with Quentin Randall, his experience with getting knocked down with Boca Chica, his last three fights with Derek Cuevas, Giovanni Santillan, and Jin Sasaki, he's a very confident kid and I love what you said about him getting better because I don't think people are taking that into consideration that this guy is getting better every fight because he's so young. So the question I have is, has Devin Haney actually been getting better? Or has he plateaued because he hasn't had to get better? And I guess we'll find out Saturday, right?
Yeah. And this is why, I put so much respect on Devin for taking this fight because most people would have said, okay, we saw the Jose Ramirez performance. No matter what people want to say, my opinion is, yeah, he had PTSD in that fight because I've seen times when Jose Ramirez closed the distance and it was kind of like Devin was kind of like flinching up, damn near, closing his eyes, like flinching up, trying to get up out of there. I seen it. People can't tell me that I didn't see what I saw. It wasn't all, okay, this is the game plan to do this for 12 straight rounds, right? It wasn't that. I seen what I seen. He had a lot of nervousness. It was a confidence thing. I seen Roy Jones be in that same vulnerable position. So it happens to the greatest of fighters, right? But with that being said, a lot of people would say, okay, well, we seen that, put him in against another, opponent that don't really, another good opponent that don't have that, devastating knockout power, that's not that dangerous, to continue to build his confidence up, and then put him in against a Brian Norman or somebody like that, right? But he went straight to the smoke. And so that's where my respect comes, because I was surprised that he went straight to a Brian Norman.
Yeah, I agree.
But he said, I was watching the interview, and he says that if he didn't think that he was levels above and so much better than Brian Norman, he would not have taken the fight. And that's why I go back to, I think a lot of the fans and a lot of the people are looking at Brian Norman against a guy like Quentin Randall, and they taking that type of fight and running with it, because we haven't seen Brian Norman in there against another pure boxer since then, right? But what they not understand is that Brian has gotten a lot better. Brian has been in the gym working and working and working and working. And now you got somebody like Devin Haney that we know from his last fight, for using his legs and moving and the tactics that he do, use his jab and try to wrap you up and make you reset and hold. They had 5 months to work on that shit. Brian Norman is athletic. He's not a Jose Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? He's very athletic. He has great feet. You can't jump rope the way that Brian Norman can jump rope and not have feet. You just can't. If you watch Brian, the way he uses feet, his angles, and everything like that, man, he got all of that. And it's just when you're young, you got to learn how to put all of that shit together, and that comes with experience. And he just didn't have the experience, but now it's all coming together. So I think that scoping this fight, Devin and his whole team, they scoped it wrong. Now you can see it in Bill Haney, because people point out that he ain't the same Bill.
He ain't talking the same.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't the same Bill Haney that he been in when we see him, the loud, because he's nervous. He know what's at stake. And just to keep it a buck, both of these fighters, they got a lot of pressure on them, right? Because if Brian go out there and he get beat by Devin, right? They don't really have no strings attached to Brian. They just go, well, he wasn't what he thought he was. Let's move on. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going. We might not see him again for another year with the situation that Top Rank got. They don't have a lot of money behind Brian, right? It's like, okay, well, the hype is gone. So he got a lot of pressure on his back. And then Devin got a whole lot of pressure on his back too, because they just gave him 3-fight, $36 million deal. They already talking about the rematch with Ryan Garcia. They talking about Rolly Romero. They talking about all these big name fights for him. And then if he licked that canvas, right, and they call him a dream, if he start dreaming on Saturday, dream, right? If he go into a dream, now what they gonna do with him?
I got a question for you, gentlemen. This is what I see when I look at the fight. Now, I'm taking off my, because I support the Normans heavy duty. Been rocking with them for a while. I remember when what's up, Clay?
What's good, family?
What up,
Man,
Bree?
you know, regular day at work right now, getting ready. I wish I was going to Saudi myself, but you know, I had to make a choice. So I mean, it wasn't too expensive either. It was only $1,300 for the plane ticket and Airbnb. I was really close to going, but
Oh,
Yeah,
what I
that's a good
ain't
price.
bad.
yeah, it was $855 for the flight and $430 for the Airbnb. But you know, I decided to stay with my stay here and go spend time with my mom because it was either that or go see my mom again. I chose that. But
Right.
what I see with this fight here is I made a real simple diagnostics of this fight. And I'm thinking Devin at his best and Brian at his best. And this is what the masses are going to end up seeing that they don't know. I think the gap between Brian Norman's fighting ability over Devin Haney is a wider gap than Devin Haney's boxing ability over Brian Norman. That's what's going to show in the fight. That's what we're going to end up seeing. And that's why I believe, even though I think both fighters are going to have phenomenal moments in the fight, I do see Devin getting wore out in the back end of the fight, and I see like a seventh, eighth round stoppage for Norman because I don't think Devin Haney's boxing ability is as superior as everybody's saying. It's good. Don't get it twisted. It's good, but it's got flaws in it that can be exposed. And I don't think Devin, when it comes to fighting in the pocket, is anywhere near the same fighter as Brian Norman. So again, Devin has the opportunity, but again, he has to be really, really precise. His timing has to be impeccable because he's not going to be able to just simply gauge distance because Norman can throw shots at the same time he throws. And because he has a 1-inch reach advantage, they'll probably land at the same time. And I would suspect that Devin would get the worst of the exchange. So he can't just simply box him on the outside. He has to time him. He has to be able to get in and out clean. And I just think it's during the fight, it's going to be too many moments where he's going to end up getting tatered.
Yeah, man. I said that, recently I said that, the back half of the fight, right? The fight is going to slow down. It's going to slow down. And when the fight slows down, that's when Devin is in danger. And Devin, if you watch Devin, he always slows down the second half of the fight. He slows down. We seen it in Lomachenko. Like he usually, well, I ain't gonna say always. I'm gonna say when he in there against somebody that presses him, he'll slow down. We seen it against. I seen it against Lomachenko. I seen it back when he fought Jojo Diaz. And I seen it in a few other fights with Devin. He'll slow down the back half of the fight. And the fight gonna slow down. When the fight slow down, that's when we really gonna see. That's when we really gonna see because I think that Devin is gonna use a lot of tactics that's worked for him, right? He's gonna use his jab. He's gonna try to, hold Brian Norman, tie him up and make him reset and all of that. But see, that's another thing that Devin has most of the time, all of the time, I ain't gonna see most. He's always been a lot stronger than the opponent Devin is physically strong, right? So he's always been able to wrap up his opponents and hold them, right? Whenever he got ready to. I don't think that he's physically stronger than Brian Norman. I think Brian Norman is the first time that Devin gonna get in the ring with a fighter that's physically stronger than what he is. Brian got that country strength. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that a lot of the tactics that we've seen Devin use on the smaller opponents in the smaller weight class that work for him and it worked for him great. I don't think they're gonna work. But this is what makes this a great fight because it's a whole bunch of ifs and we don't think, but this is the type of fight we need as boxing fans. So we can see this is the type of fight that makes a fighter what they are and that lets the boxing fans know, is they really what we say they is? Is they really what their favorite fans say they is? This is the type of fighter that we find out. And we don't get enough fights like this in boxing, but this is one of them ones where I think when the night is done, we're gonna be able to answer the questions that we have about Devin and Brian Norman. And as a fight fan, man, that's all I can ask for.
I got a question.
That's the questions I got.
I got a question. So does the Devin Haney who operated, I want to say this the right way, the Devin Haney who somewhat dominated at 135, dominated Regis Prograis at 140, those performances that we see, is that approach to boxing a strategy that transcends weight classes? In other words, operating at those lower weight classes, being the bigger guy, having the reach, always working behind those intangibles, does that translate and transcend through the weight classes? Because if we're judging what Devin Haney's going to do against Brian Norman Jr., we're basically saying that what he did against Vasily Lomachenko, a shorter, smaller, older, fighter who was coming up from lower weight classes, great boxer as far as like what he did at 126, 130, but on paper more of a threat to Devin Haney that night than in the ring to a degree, right? As far as like power and just the threat that he really posed at Devin. Devin was able to be a little bit more of a risk taker, right, inside of that ring with him. But does that transcend through weight classes, or do fighters need to evolve as they go through weight classes because of the bigger threat coming back at them as they're going up in weight classes?
Man, to me, it's kind of hard. To me, this is how I feel, right? And I go all the way, and I've told this story before, right? I go all the way back to like 2020, 21. Rest in peace to Batman, right? Me and Batman, I remember this like it was yesterday, man. Because me and Batman, one of Gary Russell's brothers, shit. Like he passed now, but he like Gary Russell's brother, right? And me and was real close. But we on the phone, right? And we in the full-blown argument debate. And we debating about Devin Haney. And he's telling me that Devin ain't as good as y'all say he is. Devin, he going off, right? This is around the time when Devin and when the whole, I don't know, you wasn't on YouTube back then, but Brim, you'll remember what I'm talking about. When the whole shit with Devin and Gary Russell was going on, right? When that whole shit was going on, when they were supposed to fight each other and all the back and forth was going on and all that shit. And he's telling me that Devin don't have defense, right? Because at this time, Devin was looked at as one of the most defensive fighters in the sport. Wasn't really, he was one of the fighters like Shakur that really didn't get hit and all of that. And he started pointing out that y'all don't know what the fuck you watching. Devin don't really have good defense. He's like, he throw a bow and arrow jab. And he the first one I heard say that shit. He throw a bow and arrow jab. He leave himself open on the inside. He was just pointing out everything that he does wrong defensively, right? And he's saying his defense is his legs. But once you close the distance, he don't have no defense. He do a lot of shit wrong. And he's telling me, like, go back and watch the film. Go back and watch the film. Go back and watch the film. So I'm like, all right, because at this point in time, I'm going to keep it buck. I'm like, I think that Devin got great defense, And so I go back and watch the film, and I start looking at shit that's like, damn, Devin really don't have good defense. He leave a lot of holes open, right? His defense is his legs able to stay on the outside, right? And keep you at bay and then wrap you up when you close the distance and hold you and things like that. And I start seeing a lot of gaps in this game. Now, I say all that to say this, right? What you ask is, does his style transcend in all weight classes? And my thing is, it just depends. It's going to be harder for him in the bigger weight classes because these guys are a lot longer, right? You don't have such a reach advantage to where now is, to me, I think in the lower weight class, he was so much longer and bigger than a lot of these fighters that he was able to keep them on the outside. It was hard for guys like Regis Prograis to close the distance, right? It was hard for Lomachenko, right, to close the distance until the fight slowed down. Lomachenko was hard for even with his footwork, it was hard for him to close the distance, right? But I give a lot of that to Devin Haney going to his body, because Devin Haney had great body work in that fight, right? But the Regis Prograis, it was hard for Regis Prograis because he got slow feet, and then it was hard for him to close the distance. So Devin was picking him off. When you get up to the when you get up to the 147s, if you get in there with a guy that's not slow, like a Jose Ramirez that have feet, these type of fighters are going to be able to close the distance on you a lot faster. We've seen it with Ryan Garcia. One of the biggest things, and I told people this, I broke the fight down before Devin fought Ryan. And yes, Ryan was on PEDs, right? But that is not all we saw what happened, right? He still landed what he landed. Devin still left the openings that he left open. And the biggest thing I saw in that fight, and I told people what was going to happen, is that I said, Ryan is not going to have difficulty closing distance on Devin when Devin tries to fight on the outside, right? I said it's going to be a lot easier for him to close the distance. And he's going to close it a lot faster than the Regis Prograis and a lot of these other smaller fighters like the Camboses are able to close the distance. And we saw that. You know, Devin, he didn't make that adjustment. What was it, the first round? He wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, it was the first round he got hit. And the thing that makes it even worse is that Ryan was trash that fight.
Yeah. He
had an exceptional speed and exceptional left hook, but he's a one-trick pony, and it was amazing that Devin didn't prepare for that one trick. That look, he's mastered that trick. I still think Ryan has one of the best of hooks in boxing, but you would have thought that being that was his bread and butter, that you would have prepared for. If you didn't prepare for nothing else, you would have thought you would have prepared for that one thing. And
But in order to land that, you still got to close the distance and get in that range, right? Where if Regis Prograis got that same left hook, the same speed, right? He might not land it because he can't close the distance in time. Devin, somebody that's long, like Ryan Garcia, you the same height, you probably got a longer reach at reach, or maybe, you know, the same reach at the same reach, you close the distance. Somebody like Brian Norman, it's going to be easier for Brian Norman, and he's going to be able to close that distance much faster than a lot of those smaller opponents, right? Jose Ramirez, he wasn't able to do it, and when he did do it, he didn't let his hands go, because we did see Jose Ramirez close the distance at times, but he didn't let his hands go because he shot. But that was the same shit that we were saying about Jose Ramirez 4 fights before he fought Devin Haney. He ain't letting his hands go. Maybe he needs to move up to 147. Maybe it's the weight cut. No, it was been washed. So it's a lot of elements to boxing that a casual fan don't realize, and they really don't see what's going on. But I think that, man, Devin, he got to continue to elevate, right? Especially going to this new weight class where the size advantage is not what he had in the lower weight classes. And now I think it's we just got to wait and see. But I think that Saturday night is going to tell us all we need to know at the moment for both fighters. That's what's great.
I think the biggest thing too, Keon, is, man, I know this won't happen because boxing fans are we're fickle and I'm gonna say is that both fighters deserve respect, win, lose, or draw. That's one of the things that, like, if Devin gets knocked out in the first round, 5th round, 12th round, it doesn't matter to me, because for him taking this fight on the terms that it is, I gotta respect it. I gotta put respect on his name. I'm not gonna disrespect Devin Haney because we need more 24 and 26-year-olds fighting each other at in the ring at the highest level. This used to be the norm in my generation. You know what I mean? That's not the norm in this generation. So I think we need to encourage the fighters to do more of this and not throw them away because they lose a fight of this caliber. Because we need more of this. We need the TO versus the Shakur. We need them in their 20s fighting at championship caliber level versus each other for titles. We don't need to be marinating until they getting 32, 33, and then then next thing you know, oh, he was on the back end. Well, damn it, you should have fought 5, 6 years ago. Don't stop over marinating fights. We need to stop over marinating fights because a great fight leads to a second, and a second one equals more money. So I feel like the sport of boxing is cutting off their nose and spite their face to try to say the business of boxing when the truth is the best business of boxing is making it happen when these guys are at their peak powers.
Yeah, I think so, man. Somebody said I got 2 live streams going. Yeah, man, it's this new stream, y'all. I don't know what's going on with this shit, man.
That's why I ain't gonna lie. I love StreamYard. I want to restream, but they're giving me issues too, man. I don't even know, man.
I don't know what. I just looked on my phone. I do got 2 lives going. That's crazy. Of the same thing.
Hey,
I don't know.
You twice as live as the rest.
Yeah, 100%.
But it is what it is.
Yo, can I touch just kind of finish up what I was saying before?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to say that, matchmaking is a very important thing because it has a lot to do with the development of the fighters, and I think that's one thing Turkey Allah is exposing a little bit with some of the boxers here in America by showing that a lot of these guys' records were padded or they weren't the matchmaking didn't help them become better, and that's why I question if Devin Haney is a better fighter now than what he was at at his best fight at the Linares fight, for example. You saw Edgar Berlanga get exposed by Hamza Shiraz. You saw Jared Anderson get exposed by Martin Bacoli. You see, to the point where a lot of American content creators and boxing fans say that it's diabolical that Turkey's putting fighters in fights and making American fighters lose. And it's like, what? Are you making them lose? No, they're just not as good as you thought they were. And it just feels like this fight right here with Devin and Brian Norman is a fight that I'm really anticipating watching because I'm wondering if Devin Haney hasn't gotten better and developed a lot of bad habits by being able to get away with a lot of mistakes that he never had to correct because he didn't have the right fighters in front of him to challenge him in a way that would make him close up those holes. I'm just wondering, right? So this fight on Saturday, I think is going to be real interesting because the Devin that everybody's comparing, saying, they want to use, they keep talking about his resume, but I don't know if his resume got him. I don't know if his resume has necessarily prepared him for what he's about to face on Saturday. I'm just not sure. And I'm interested in seeing how that comes together. And equally on Brian Norman's side as well. But he's so young, it just seems like an opportunity for him one way or the other. It just seems like the pressure and the magnifying glass is going to be on Devin Haney Saturday night.
I don't like when I look at George Kambosos, right? I don't see George Kambosos being no better than what's the dude that Brian Norman knocked out for the strap?
Santillan.
Santillan.
Yeah.
To me, I think they're on the same level. I think that's the same level of opposition. Like to keep it real, I think that's the same level of opposition. Like when you really look at it and you take the names off of it, right? Yes, Devin has the better resume, but it ain't levels above. I don't see, besides of Lomachenko at the time that Devin fought Lomachenko, right? I don't see nobody that just I'm looking at on paper on his resume that's like wow.
Especially in his last 3 fights specifically, right? Or
if
you go to 3 or 4 fights specifically, it's like, those guys ain't light years ahead of anybody that Brian Norman fought. Like
I'm not looking at no wow. Like I'm gonna give an example, right? When Roy Jones was coming up. You look at a Bernard Hopkins or when he fought James Toney, you like, wow.
Right.
Like that solidified him right there. Even somebody like Errol Spence and everybody liked to knock when he fought Kell Brook. But Kell Brook, if you saw that fight, you okay, yeah, he solidified, right? I'm talking about those type of fights. I don't see those type of fights, and a lot of in like Clay was saying earlier, a lot of these fighters now, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? Because we can't, now they coming up in the era where they wowing people, but people that really know boxing, if we sit down and watch it, if we sit down and break this shit down, we like, well, that ain't really that. Like they hyped it up to be that, but this fighter wasn't really like that, A lot of these fighters we can say that about, man, but I want to answer a question real quick, and I'm gonna let everybody get in on this, right? Because he makes a point, right? We touch all bases. Even though people know I'm rocking with Brian Norman, we still got to touch all bases, right? And we pointing out the flaws that we've seen in Devin Haney. So we got to point out the flaws that we've seen before in Brian Norman. And Southwest Dice, he say, anyone gonna speak on lunging, no head movement, feet planted, Norman? I think, I kind of touched on that when I said that we saw some of that against Boca Chica. We saw some of that against Quentin Randall at times, right? Even though he won every round against Quentin Randall. And I think that's I think a lot of that, right? Because I've seen behind the scenes footage of Brian Norman working on his feet. I've seen all of that. But I think a lot of that, right? And you got a point, because that is shit that we need to point out. That's something that I think that Bill and Devin, they was licking their chops at, right? But I think that is a young Brian Norman, right? Coming from fighting on the lower circuit, knocking everybody out that he's knocking out, and on the top rank, still very young, right? Don't have no experience in thinking that he can get in there and still just run through everybody the same way, right? I don't need to move my head. I could fight the same exact way, right? At this level, because once you go to top rank, right, they putting you in there with, a much higher level than you in there with when you fighting these motherfucking ballroom bar fights, right? When you fighting these, the lower echelon, the D level fighters and things like that you just running through and knocking out. So I think a lot of that was him being young, thinking that he could still do the same thing, just running there, and just, bully opponents and get him up out of there. And I think that he learned that, hey, I got to clean a lot of this shit up. Because as I start raising my level of competition, it's going to get exploited. We seen that when he got knocked down by Boca Chica, right? And that's all comes with learning. That's why I pointed out that he's had 5 months to work on certain things, studying for Devin Haney. So we're going to be able to see, hey, can he put all of it together? You know what I'm saying? Can he raise his boxing game to that next level to be the elite boxer like Devin Haney? Can you? That's why this is a great fight. But yeah, we've seen those flaws in Brian Norman, and I think a lot of that was due to just getting his feet wet, still learning, and we'll see.
The thing with Brian Norman and Devin Haney, I think the difference for me right now at this moment is, and I still haven't made my pick yet to go on the record, but I'm saying that Brian Norman still has, it's one thing to learn it in the gym. It's another thing to have the courage to wield it in the fight. And what I mean by that is sometimes in order for the price of greatness, sometimes the cost is a risk at potentially losing your consciousness or being exposed or being hurt. Devin, to me, ever since that Linares fight, has become reserved with that part of his game, right? Like, he's such a smart fighter and he's such a well-rounded, educated, high IQ fighter. But when I saw him not go for it when he fought against Regis Prograis, from that moment on, although I gave him a credit for dominating Regis the way he did, I still remember Regis being hurt and out on his legs and Devin not going for it. And to me, what it said was Devin didn't want to risk Regis letting something go and him getting hit again, reliving that Linares situation, I think mentally. And it made me question, is he the type of fighter to carry that trauma with him into all his fights? We saw him bet on himself against Ryan Garcia once again and go for it, and he got hurt again. And then we saw him become very reserved with Ramirez. So, not to be long-winded about it, but just to kind of put some context to what I'm about to say right now, to say that Brian Norman is young, hungry, and has a heart to implement the game plan and risk his consciousness and risk his loss to be great. Whereas Devin, I'm questioning when he hits that adversity and he entertains the ultimate consequence, will he get reserved? And will that hurt him in a fight with Brian Norman? Because it may cost him sitting there. You know, one thing that made Roy Jones great was Roy Jones was always a fighter who fought with his hands a little bit low, right? And what did that mean? To me, it meant he was willing to take risk. He was willing to bait you in, give you a fair shot at getting him, because he knew on the other side of him being able to make you miss and use his athleticism was going to be an opportunity for him to do something great. It hurt him later when he fought Antonio Tarver, but at the end of the day, those moments that he had and that made him such a great boxer, he took risk. He really did. Is Devin Haney the kind of fighter that would do that? Well, he could have gotten Regis Prograis out of there, and he took the safe route. He was reserved. He won the fight. I gave him all the credit. He dominated, but he didn't kill. He didn't have that killer instinct in there. And will Brian Norman be able to test Devin Haney in a certain way to where Devin Haney might hit that crossroad again in this fight? I think Brian Norman will improve and have the heart to execute what he's improved on in the game plan that he's worked on. And I wonder, I'm not saying he won't, but I question as to whether or not Devin Haney will be able to, what decision he'll make when he's in that moment against Brian Norman on Saturday, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Let me ask my man Too Rich. Answer this question that my man Southwest Dice. He said, anyone gonna speak on lunging and no head movement, feet planted normal? That's his question.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Some things is about style. We say Brian Norman has power in both hands. Well, one reason a fighter got power in both hands is because they tend to fight a little square, with the shoulders a little bit square. That's how you're gonna generate power out of both of your hands. Okay, if you got power in both your hands, and it's kind of like the boots thing when you say he's not worried about what's coming back at him. But for Brian Norman, the difference is his stance is going to allow him to be there. That's why I think Devin has a chance to land on Norman just because of Norman's style. He's going to be a little bit square, so he's going to be there to be hit. So whether it's no head movement or not, I think is a part of it is his stance. It's the way he stands. He stands a little square. Cuevas hit him. Sasaki landed a good shot on him. So he could be hit. But in order for him to generate his power, that's how he got to come. So I definitely think he's going to be there to be hit. And Devin may even have a chance to drop him. Man, I know that might sound asinine to a lot of people, but I'm just kind of flabbergasted at how many people think this is going to be a straight knockout. If you look at boxing history at the elite level, we don't always get knockouts. That's why we so surprised by the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, because that don't normally happen at the elite level. You know, We had Better Be fight Bivol. Better Be had 100% knockout ratio, and he went 24 rounds with Bivol. Canelo didn't knock out Crawford. Tank didn't knock out Roach. So the thought that this is an automatic knockout, I think, is a little bit more wishful thinking. So for me, it's not that can Brian Norman knock Devin out. Can he set up the knockout against an elite fighter? Because that knockout against Jensen Saki, he set that up with that stab jab to the body. He knew the guy would respond. And he caught him pulling back. Well, are you going to be able to set up Devin like that? At the end of the day, when Devin fought Ryan, he wasn't expecting to be hurt. He thought Ryan was so beneath him, he wasn't expecting the rage that Ryan fought with. Well, Brian Norman not going to be on Osterine. He's not coming in overweight. So he's going to fight a championship fight. He's going to take his time. He's going to try to find openings and setups and shit. So I'm interested to see, young man, can you set up this elite guy? At the end of the day, to me, I still got Devin toward the top. Can you set him up? Can you set that knockout? I don't believe you're going to touch him. He's going to fall. Because if nothing else, he's going to be holding the phone this fight. He's going to be defensively responsible this fight. The question is, can he get up off enough offense out of that defense to win the fight? Now, I will ask y'all this. If Brian Norman doesn't knock Devin out, can he beat Devin on the scorecards?
Yes.
Yes.
You want to know why he
think,
can?
I think he can, but I like that question. Go ahead. I want to hear bring me that.
The reason why I
like
say yes, and here's the dynamic. You mentioned some good points about Norman head on the line. I've told Senior about that. And I actually talked to Norman too and told him about it. But I've watched him up close, and there are some things that people don't know about. They're going to get a chance to find out in this fight, and there's things that I'm going to even find out in this fight. But what the difference is when you mention Crawford Canelo, when you mention the championship fights, there are some differences between those championship fights and this one. Bud didn't come from getting knocked down 3 times, then fighting a risk adverse fight. So those elements for Devin Haney are there that wasn't there for these other champions. Also, I think that Norman will be able to set up his shots because Devin's a good defensive fighter, but he's not great. He has holes in his game. So I do believe that Norman's going to end up cracking him at some point. And once he cracks him, Devin's going to fight even more defensively. So that means if he's fighting more defensively, not shooting any offense, then I can see Brian Norman getting a 12-round decision by outworking him. Because Devin, I ain't going to say gunshot, but Devin is very, very aware of the punch that hurts him early in the fight. And he fights a whole lot less offensively. And he ends up losing the fight by survival. I can see that happening. Because Devin's good enough to be able to make it 12 rounds. But at the same token, if you're getting cracked and you're not throwing enough punches back, then you're losing rounds.
One thing that one thing I do got to say about Devin is when he showed me in that Ryan Garcia fight, he showed me a lot of nuts. Because most fighters would have laid down. He didn't lay down. He kept fighting. He kept, and so that showed me that, man, he got a very, very high competitive nature, right? His competitive nature is high. So if he do get hurt by Brian Norman, right? If he's still the same Devin Haney, I don't see him, just laying down and trying to survive. I see him still trying to win if he's still that same fighter that he was. But see, this is the thing. Once you go through something dramatic like he went through in that Ryan Garcia situation, do you still have that same mind, that mentality, right? That's the question. That's another question we have, right? If you get hurt by Brian Norman, are you still willing to go through that motherfucking fire and that storm, right? To do whatever it takes to win? Or do you say, you know what? I didn't been through this shit before. Don't nobody know how he felt that next day when that swelling come in and that motherfucking headache come. You know what I'm saying? All of that. I like people that grew up boxing and been in the gym like I did. Like, hey, so that's a different mind mentality. Like, okay, is he cool with going through that again? Because your mind got to be a little off to go through that shit and then just throw it in the back and like, hey, I ain't, that shit don't even faze me. Everybody can't do that. So it
Hey, I
just
got a
depends.
hot take.
It
I
just
got,
I
depends.
mean, if you would have if using all those things that you just said right there, Keon, right? Watching him fight in that Jose Ramirez fight, and that's the only fight you have to gauge Devin Haney. Do you think
He wasn't winning in that fight.
he's the
You
same
could
Devin?
tell in that fight, you could tell he wasn't willing to go through that motherfucking fire and that thunderstorm, right? To do whatever he had to do. Like, although he didn't have to because he was levels above a Jose Ramirez, right?
That's a fact.
Jose
Yes.
Ramirez couldn't do nothing on his level. So it was kind of like LeBron, it was kind of like Michael Jordan going out there playing against high schoolers, right? But when Jose Ramirez did close the distance, right, even though he wasn't letting you could tell in Devin Haney's body language that he wasn't prepared to go through that same, that same fire again if he had to, if a real fight broke out. Now it just depends. Now has it been long enough for him to put that behind him, right? Has he got his confidence back? We don't know. This is a dangerous fight to find out.
hey, Keon, hey, Claymore and Too Rich. I got a hot take, and it's for both fighters, and this is the reason why the fight's going to be really, really good. I believe Devin is going to show a lot of grit that some people think he doesn't have. So that means he'll take punishment and continue to fight, right? But also, Brian Norman's going to show the people who think he doesn't have boxing ability that he has much more boxing ability, and he has the stamina to go 12 rounds if it does go 12 rounds. There's things that we're going to learn on both sides of the coin that I think that people who are Devin Haney haters or detractors or people who are critical of Devin, that he's going to show up and prove. And likewise with Brian Norman. So a lot of the things that I'm seeing and a lot of things that I've spoken on and other people spoken on, I got a feeling that both fighters are going to show up and show that they have that in them in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. This is
But
why.
let me say this. I talked to Senior on the panel, and I told him, I said, my fear is Brian Norman coming there, pressing for the knockout, trying to knock him out. And then we look up, it's the 5th round, and Brian Norman is down 4 rounds to 1. And now he has to press for a knockout. So my advice was, hey, if Devin score 1 or 2 points, jab, score 1 or 2 points, you got to get those points back. You got to keep that fight close so Brian Norman can stay relaxed. It's like baseball. You don't hit a home run trying to hit a home run. You have to be relaxed. So I'm saying the same thing for a knockout. Keep the fight close. Don't let Devin run away on them points where now you're back against the wall. Keep the fight close. You don't even have to be ahead, but keep it close so he can stay relaxed for the knockout. Now, I'm a Devin Haney fan, and Claymore know that I'm a Devin Haney fan, but I'm from Atlanta, so I'm rocking with the home team. Don't get me wrong. I'm going with Norman in this fight, but as a sports guy, as a guy that break down fights, I want to see how he do it. How do you do it? Young man, 24 years old, you already here. The world is ahead of you. How do you go in and take down a fighter that nobody else took down without it being illegal or busting weight and all that? But no PEDs, no weight advantage, just take them out. Because everybody want to get rid of Devin Haney, but nobody want to beat him. Nobody want to put their best guy in there to beat him. So we get to see Norman take on a challenge. That's why I say this fight is really about Norman. We know who Devin is, but we got to see if Norman ready to take that next step and become a superstar. And I think he will. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think he'll get it done.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. It's a lot of questions to be answered, right, on both sides, right? But I'm gonna ask y'all because Brian Norman said that he has to get a knockout, right? And this coincides with what you were just saying right now. B. Norm said he basically said, "Hey, I don't trust these judges." So yeah, it's a knockout for me. So that really go with what you're saying. Does he go in there and does he go in there with the mindset of pressing for the knockout, right? Going in there, I know I got to get him up out of there. That's what I'm going in there to do, right? Does he go in there to do that? Is he good enough to go in there and You know, I'm gonna knock him out if I got to do it in the third round, the second round, or if I got to do it in the 11th round, I'm gonna get him up out of it, right? Does he go in there with that mentality? I don't trust these judges because we was talking about can he win a fight on the scorecard, right? Well, he basically was saying that he don't trust that they're gonna give him the fight on the scorecards. And we know, like I said earlier, Devin Haney is the fighter that got the $36 million deal. Devin Haney is the fighter that they got all of their, you know, hey, they got everything riding for Devin, right? They talking about a rematch with Ryan Garcia. They already gave him, promised him, we're gonna give you 36 mil for your next 3 fights. That's what they saying. So if that's true, can Brian win on the scorecards? So I think his mindset is, I'm going in there to knock his ass out. I'm not even trying to win on those scorecards. So it's, you know, we've seen fighters try to do that against peer boxers a lot of times, and we've seen, just like my man Too Rich said, you look up, now it's the 10th round, and he's still there. But man, so it's a lot of questions to be answered. But with that being said, if Brian do come in there with that mentality, can Devin last with a motherfucker pressing in on his ass like that for round 1 through however it go? You know, can he kick? Because this ain't. And I'm gonna tell my boy Bang, salute to Fight Words with Bang. Here's another channel, man, that I love watching. Another channel that I love watching. I ain't just saying this shit because they in here, right? It ain't a lot of people that I watch on YouTube. But Claymore Rain, Just Do Boxing, my man Mark Nash, he do, man, his show is so diverse, man. He got a hell of a show. And my man Fight Words with Bang, that do his, you know, they got the Sunday morning, the Sunday night dinner with him and my man Hackett. Hey, you know, Greg Hackett, man, they be going in, man. So subscribe to these channels, man. This is real boxing talk. This ain't the channels that you go to for bullshit narratives to sit around and like some motherfucking housewives and tear fighters down. This real boxing talking. You know, we need a lot more of that in the boxing space, man. Real talk. But going in and salute to Mark Nash, man. Always showing love, always supporting the channel. I appreciate the support for sure. But like I said, man, I just think that the reason I picked Brian is because I think that a lot of people underestimate him. I think that Devin is looking at the Brian Norman that we saw in the Quentin Randall and his team is licking their chops and think they're going to get that same fighter. And I think that Brian Norman has elevated, man. He's got older, he's got a lot more experience, and he's hungry, and he's a dog. You know what I'm saying? And his confidence has grown tremendously. It's like the most difficult fighter to get in there with is a fighter that really believe that they can't be beat by nobody. That's the number one most difficult fighter to beat. Somebody that really believe like can't nobody fuck. You know what I'm saying? Until somebody fuck with you. That's a difficult fighter to beat. And somebody that's at an all-time high that's been on that run like Brian has been on. That's a difficult fighter to beat. And you know, this is a difficult task for both fighters, but it's a more difficult task mentally for Devin, because I think that B Norm is going in there mentally like, man, I'm ready to wreck shit. I think Devin, he talking that confident shit. He talking that good talk. But do he really believe everything he's saying? Do he really have the extreme confidence the way that he's talking? Like, I'm levels above him. I'm finna go in there and do whatever I want. Because that's what he said. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do whatever I want when I want. When I want to box him, I'm gonna box his head off. When I want to bang with him, I'm gonna outbang him. When I want to fight on the inside, I'm gonna do that better than him. I'm gonna do everything I want to do when I want it and how I want it. Do he really believe it? Because, like Clay said, the confidence that he's displaying, he didn't show that in his last fight. So, what makes people believe that in this fight against a much more dangerous opponent, a much tougher opponent, that he's going to go in there and display that? Where did he find that confidence from that he didn't have in the last fight? I'm not saying that he don't have it. I'm saying that what makes you believe that? Where's that coming from?
I think the $36 million.
Yeah, I think it's a legitimate gamble. I think people are just betting on the best version. They're just remembering Devin Haney in another time. I just don't believe he's done nothing in recent times to back that up. It's just faith, you know what I'm saying? But I believe if that Devin Haney shows up, it's going to be a hard fight for Brian Norman to win. But at the end of the day, I don't see the evidence in his performance against Jose Ramirez to say that he's about to come into this fight super confident. I can't say that.
Hey, let me say this one last thing, man, and I got to get out of here, man. I got a short come out tomorrow, or the breakdown, the fight, my biggest takeaways, and it is gonna be this for the most part. Brian Norman is gonna need and I told Senior this. He needs an exit strategy. Meaning when he presses Devin Haney gonna break right or he's gonna break left. If he break right, what's the plan? If he breaks left, what's the plan? Because you're gonna have to corral him so you can get off your uppercuts and your inside game. So you gotta slow down Devin Haney's lateral movement. Okay, but Devin Haney, he needs to condition Norman with lateral movement. And once he lure Norman to sleep, he got to plant his feet and he got to stop and pop. He's going to have to pull a Terrence Crawford. Fight Norman when Norman don't want to fight and get out of there when Norman is ready to fight. Man, but it's a fucking great fight. I can't wait, man. EB, man, thank you for letting me come up, man. Shout out to Unbiased Bram and Claymore Rain, man. I'll be in the chat listening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Rich.
Great breakdown, man. Great breakdown. So, all perspectives.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Just my man fighting words with Bang. I think you kind of looking at Brian Norman is another Regis program, bro. I think because I read the comments, that Devin, that you said earlier, I think y'all kind of looking at him as, and I think a lot of people doing that. I think they're looking at him as a Regis pro grade type of slow feed, fighter is gonna have. I don't see that, man. Brian Norman is that. Hey, I'm telling y'all, man, that boy athletic. He's not a Regis pro grade. He's not a Regis pro grade, man. He's, and I think that. And let me stop shitting on, because it sounds like I'm shitting on Regis program, because I think that Regis, when Regis was younger, Regis was a much better fighter than what we see him as. You know what I'm saying? Regis just didn't get the opportunities that he should have got when he was at the top of his game. Regis was a hell of a fighter at one point in time. So I don't want to shit on Regis program, but the version of Regis program that y'all saw against Devin Haney, that ain't Brian Norman. If y'all think that's what you gonna, hey, I'm telling y'all, hey, we got how many days we got? 3 days?
No.
Yeah, 3 days, right? Today's Thursday, 2 days really, but yeah.
My man said, not at all. He said, I really got this 50-50. I just don't think he can box with Dev, but he can definitely knock him out though. Yeah, I wouldn't put him on the level, right? Because I think that Devin Haney is an elite level boxer, right? I think that he's an A-level boxer, right? But I don't think that Brian Norman, and I'm not saying you, right? But I'm hearing a lot of people breaking this fight down, right? Even fighters themselves, right? And a lot of people think that Devin is so far ahead of Brian Norman boxing, and the only chance that Brian Norman has is to, basically fight Devin and knock him out. I don't think that the boxing gap is as far as people think it is. I don't think that the boxing gap, because you gotta I think that Brian Norman has great timing. Once he closes the distance, he has great timing. He's a lot more athletic on his feet than people think that he is. And so yeah, there is, I would give the edge to Devin boxing, but I don't think the gap is as wide as people think that, that people just saying it is and people think it is. I really don't. But like Crush said, we gonna know on Saturday, man.
Yeah, listen,
talk.
that's why I'm with you on that, and that's why I got Norman, because I believe fighting ability, Norman has a much wider gap than than Haney will have in boxing ability. And people saying Devin's going to do Norman like Regis. Last time I checked, Regis' reach was 67. 67. Norman has 72. He has a 1-inch reach on Devin, and Devin had a almost 5-inch reach on Regis. Regis is 34 years old. Are we forgetting how he looked against Zorilla in his homecoming fight? That was a gift. And people say, oh, well, people had Regis beaten. No, they cut it out. 70 to 80% of the people had Devin win. And I had Devin by KO. I picked Devin by KO. And I was kind of tight because I would have won a whole lot more money if he had to finish the job like I thought he was going to do. And comparing Norman to Regis is I ain't gonna say disingenuous, but it's not rational. You're talking about a 34-year-old guy that's on the back end of his career with extremely short arms who has a problem being a front foot lead. And you're comparing them to a 24-year-old who has a longer reach than Devin, who is much more athletic and can fight on the front foot. It's not the same comparison. It doesn't. That's what makes this fight intriguing, because Devin is something he hasn't faced, and so is Norman.
I'm gonna ask both of y'all something, and I want to ask Clay now, and I want you to answer after Clay. Does this fight come down to ring IQ?
Yes. And no. Yes, it can come down to that. It can come down to that, but will it come down to that? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'll put that on the back of Devin to make it about that, right? But Devin, nah, man, this fight comes down to mentality, bro. This fight comes down to will and mentality. That's why I think it's going to be the highlight of this fight. Like with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, it was about emotional control. Every fight kind of has its little theme to it. And I think the theme to this one's going to be mentality, bro. You know what I mean? More than IQ.
And if you say it comes down to mentality, that's another reason why I got Norman, because I know there's Haney fans who will argue me down, but there's no way you can convince me that Devin Haney has the mental advantage going into this fight. There's no way you can convince me that.
So when it comes to ring IQ, right? I'm gonna say this. I say that if Brian Norman fights a fight to where he lets it come down to ring IQ, that's a win for Devin Haney. Because I think at this point, I think that if Devin can fight at his pace and do the things that he want to do, right, that's Devin's keys to victory, right? Where I can outthink you. I can do certain shit to where you kind of letting me, fight comfortable. That's when it can come down to ring IQ. And if that were to happen, I have to say I get it as a Devin, right? But I don't see that happening because I don't see Brian Norman going in there letting that shit happen, right? I see Brian Norman going in there, and I don't want to say, because when I say something like a pit bull, you know what I'm saying, a pit bull on some fresh meat, I don't want to say that because then we start thinking of a motherfucking Isaac Pitbull Cruz or somebody like that. It's just going. But I think that he's going to make Devin uncomfortable to where he's not going to be able to get in that zone to where I can use my ring IQ and get comfortable, right? I think he's going to make it uncomfortable for Devin. We seen when Lomachenko finally caught up to Devin and made it uncomfortable, Devin, he didn't know what to do, right? But I think it's going to help Devin right? Because he been through that. So it's a lot of variables to this fight. But I think I agree with Claymore and I agree with Unbiased Brim. It's gonna come down to a fight, man. And when it comes down to just a dog fight, when you really got to fight when everything go out the window, right? Brian Norman's ability to fight is way, way more than what Devin got. You know what I'm saying? And can Devin take that punch when Brian land that motherfucking hard ass shot? Because he gonna land, right? He's going to land, and when he lands, what is Devin's reaction gonna be? Where's his mindset gonna go, knowing that he's been through that before? So, man, this is a great, man. I'm getting hyped talking about this shit because this is a great ass fight. This is the type of fight to where if you going for Devin, when they walking and they're announcing them, right? If you a Devin fan, your heart beating, right? If you a Brian Norman fan, right? When they're announcing them, your heart is beating. I don't give a fuck who you lying if you saying it ain't. So this is the type of fight that we need, and salute to Mark Nash in the building, ATL in the building.
What up, though? Check 1 2. How sound? Y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. You good. You
What's popping? What's happening? What's going on, man? Finally caught another one of these live streams. Long time no see, Keith.
Salute, Mark.
What up, Clay? Clay Moore. I forgot my glasses. Long-winded Rain, my brother. What up?
Doing good, man. How you doing, man?
I'm biased Brim. I'm sorry. Very biased Brim. Sitting in the pocket. What's up, my brother?
Yeah, this shit on mute.
He unbiased unless it comes to them Razorbacks. And
the Razorbacks in the crib. Don't make me go put my Razorback hat on.
Man, you better not put that crap on, man.
Hey, man, don't make me go put my Razorback hat on.
I wanted to say a couple things, man, because I've been listening for a minute, man. And shout out to the homie who was here earlier. He said he was from the A2. I don't know if I met him yet, but shout out to him. I like to connect with him and see if he come to any of the gyms. If so, pull up at me at one of the gyms right here in the city, man. Love to chop it up with him. Introduce him to a couple of dope fighters here, man, that we got. Couple things. The Regis comparison. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. And I want to address it briefly. And like you, I'm a fan of Regis as well, so I don't want to I don't want to mischaracterize him as a fighter, man, as a record label crew or staff or anything. You get what I'm saying? I like Regis. But let's be clear of two things. One, the Regis we saw against Devin was not a prime Regis. Can we all agree to that? Church say amen. Am I tripping? Shout out to the chat. Y'all let me know in the chat. Y'all let me know on the panel. Am I tripping?
If you say
was that prime Regis?
100%. That was a Regis that some might say got exposed to a certain degree, and he lost a little confidence in himself ever since the Josh Taylor fight. Really lost that fight. Looked all right against Zepeda, but looked milk against Zorilla. So yeah, man, definitely not a prime one.
Prime Regis. Was that prime Loma against Haney?
No.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say it wasn't a prime Loma.
Was it prime Loma? Because Loma was not prime at 135. Can we agree with that?
And he wasn't active. He wasn't active either. He had his little victory over who did he get a victory over before he fought? Was it Jermaine? No, it wasn't Jermaine. Who was it? Before he fought Devin.
He had a tough fight against Jermaine.
It don't matter. It won't prime Loma. We know that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Did he fight Prime Ramirez? Did he fight Prime Gamora?
Go back to Loma. What the reason? What I was gonna say is, to me, Loma was never. We talked about it earlier, but you weren't here. But we was talking about that, right? Loma was never a great fighter at 135.
You guys said, was he great or was he good? I remember.
He was, because at 126 and 130, that was the Loma, but at 135, he was a good fighter. He wasn't great, but yeah, he had a fight against Ortiz before he fought Haney, and that was a razor close fight. Very close fight against Jermaine Ortiz. But go ahead.
So my second thing with that, well, I'm making two different points right now with that. My whole point is all these great fighters, all this Devin has the better resume. None of these guys that you named was in their prime. He didn't fight a prime Gamboa. Terrence Crawford did. He didn't fight a prime Linares. He didn't fight a prime Regis. He didn't fight a prime Ramirez. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying this because I'm Team Norman. No, these are facts. These are guys past their prime, and he's bigger than all of them. He's about to fight a young man who's in his prime, bigger, stronger, longer. And you got, and I agree with Clay at will. We're gonna show this man what will really is, and we're gonna while we breaking his at will. We're gonna show him what will really is. That's what's gonna separate this character. What do you do when things get hard? Now, I ain't gonna say Devin doesn't have character because, like you said earlier, Key, in the broadcast, y'all rewind it if y'all didn't see it. It's been a great show so far. He said most fighters would have just stayed down. With like, tonight ain't my night. Or most corners would have just packed it up. Especially when you got Ryan telling them, come on, man. Tell him, Bill, like, you want me to put him in the dirt? Because I'm killing him out here. He's like, Bill, throw the towel. And they just kept the fight going. I thought Devin pretty much won every round except the first and the last that he didn't get knocked down. If he didn't get knocked down, he won the round other than that first one and the last round. That's why it was still a close fight. Now, here's my second point on the Regis thing. And Regis started boxing at 16, 17 years old?
I was going to say that too. Yep.
That matters, man. You know what Brian Norman Jr. was doing at 16, 17 years old? Sparring Tank Davis and going to math and science class the next morning. Tank Davis won't knocking him out, and he was a kid. Spar Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford wasn't knocking him out. He was a teenager, late teen. That matters, man. That builds character. You get what I'm saying? So when you started, the sport matters. That's why Shakur was talking to Conor Ben. I don't know if y'all remember that. Yep. When he crashed the Ariel Helwani interview. Yeah. I know you saw it, but for those who don't know, he asked Conor Ben, he said, when you start boxing again? Conor Ben was like 15, 16. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah, he said you're cooked. He says you're cooked. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, I've been doing this ever since I was 7 years old. You're not gonna. He was like, I'll fight you right now. He's like, you're gonna fight me, and I'm going to box you. You know, period.
And I think that's what's going to separate it too. See, these guys have a very parallel path. Devin Haney's been boxing since he was a kid. Brian Norman been boxing since he was a little kid too. You get what I'm saying? Both of these guys, very touted, had very touted amateur careers, and from there they both skipped the Olympics, and their fathers believed in them enough, took them across the border to Mexico, had them fighting grown men, bro, as kids. Flying back home, and shoot, you got social study class in about 7:30, bro. You know what I'm saying? Go to bed. What? That's extreme belief in yourself, and also the father's extreme belief in both of their sons. So, like I said, I'm Team Norman. I don't hate Devin Haney, and I'm not gonna hate Devin Haney, win, lose, or draw in this fight. If he goes in there and beat Brian Norman Jr., oh my God, top 5, dead or alive type shit. You know what I'm saying? I got to put him on my pound list because I can't see it. I cannot see it. I cannot see it. All that he so that was one point. So with the Regis thing, Regis, when he first picked up his boxing gloves, Brian Norman Jr. was already an amateur champion, was already sparring world champions in high school, bro. That's a difference. Also, Regis was was getting long in the tooth. Like I think somebody else has said, he just came off a bad performance. So I think we're trying to compare apples to oranges, and it's not fair to Regis and it's not fair to Norman. But I get it. If that's what you want to go live off, cool. Another thing you guys said, and I wrote my little notes right here, so I'm trying to go through my little notes without being too Claymore Rain on the shit. I'm joking, Clay. You know I rock with you. Fight mentality.
You ain't lying. I'm working on it. You ain't lying.
No. But you speak well, like Chris Rock said. He speaks well.
I be doing that shit myself when I get to cook. We all got that.
Yeah. Me too, man. Me too. Fight mentality. I think that's what people are missing too when they bring up the what changed in Brian Norman and him getting better. When it's not just him getting older and getting better. We made some changes. Well, I'm part of the team, but I don't make those kind of decisions. The corner has changed. People ain't even notice that. Y'all notice we don't see Coach Barry no more. We see Coach Byron. Nobody brings that up because they ain't paying attention.
This is something that you know a lot of people don't know. Get in depth with what changed.
Okay, Coach Barry, good coach. I like Coach Barry. Shout out to you. Coach Barry used to be Brian Norman Sr.'s coach at one point when he was an amateur. I mean, when he was a pro coming up. That gentleman is no longer in the corner. Coach Byron is. And what comes with that is because it takes a team. One person is going there throwing all the punches, but it takes different sets of eyeballs. It takes a different brand, like Brian Norman Sr. come up with a game plan and a strategy, but he bounced that idea off the assistant coach, and they come up with strategies, game plans, and ways to implement them, and then you implement it in training, then you go in the ring and you do it. What changed is Brian Norman Sr., and we joke about it on the show. You'll hear me say it all the time when I'm around it. FTF, fist through face. Put your fist through his face. FTF. We talk about it all the time. That wasn't necessarily Coach Barry's strategy. The fight mentality, the going into it, the prepping of it. It was more of a slick boxing, tap, 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 tap. Brian Sr. was like, no, hit him hard. And hit him hard right now. Up front. First round, jab him hard. Don't just touch him with the jab. Push your fist through his face.
When did that change? When did the
I want to say it might have been after the Boca Chica fight. I gotta just look at the thing, but I want to say it was Boca Chica. After the Boca Chica fight.
Yeah, Senior said after the Boca Chica fight, he addressed the issue that he felt like was the issue. I think he told me that on my show.
Yeah. So it was after the Boca Chica fight, but we saw, you can see it some in the Quentin Randall fight. You can, and I get it. And like I said, man, I want to say more, but I don't want to disrespect Coach Barry because he's a good dude. And he's a very respectful coach and very respected coach as well. But the mentality of the fight and this fighter, I don't think it was meshing well with Junior's abilities and what Senior knew he can squeeze out that juice he can get out of this fruit, which is the fruit of his labor, his son.
How long did he with that trainer though?
That's a question I gotta ask because I don't know how long, but a minute though. But you can see the difference in the pro level. You can see the difference once Coach Byron got in there to help us out. You get what I'm saying? You can see the difference. That's when people's like, Brian Norman's getting better. He's getting better every fight. Look at the corner. Look at the people around as well. You know what I'm saying? We have a consistent cut man now. Damn, man. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it, man. But hold on one second. Somebody texted me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see that.
I'll be right back. I need to take this. I'll be right back.
Yeah. See, that's something that I didn't even know. You know, we seen the elevation of Brian Norman. We seen things change, but that's something I didn't even know. You know, so that could make a difference.
Yeah, Keon, I ain't gonna lie, like that. What Mark was saying kind of shed it a lot more light because I'm still trying to figure out who I think is going to win this fight. I am leaning a certain direction right now, but I'm still trying to figure it out in my mind. But that there was a significant change, and people try to say that the Brian Norman Jr. evolution happened because of the convenience of matchmaking, right? That he happened to fight after Giovanni Santilli, and he happened to fight an easy fight against Derek Cuevas and easy fight against Jin Sasaki. But I got to be honest, as a boxing fan, I noticed the difference, and I'm not dumb enough. Like, I don't want to say I'm not dumb enough, but I'm not dumb enough. But it's not about. I know what I see. My eyes ain't lying to me. I seen an improvement, and I didn't know why. What catapulted him forward I even asked Brian Norman Sr. when he came on my show. I said, so what changed? Because something obviously changed. And he said that he made a big change after the Boca Chica fight, that there was a huge change he made. And he said he didn't want to speak on it, but he knows exactly what the problem was, and he addressed the problem. And that's why we saw the improvement. So Mark speaking on it. Yeah, right. So yeah.
And like I said, and that's probably a sentimental thing for him as well, because Coach Barry's our guy. You know what I'm saying? That was his coach. You know what I'm saying? That's our guy. He's still our guy. He's just not in the corner anymore with us. You get what I'm saying? So it's no disrespect to him, but the mentality of it. I speak on this too. Hakeem Lopez was talking to. I was talking to Tito Lopez. He's Najee Lopez's brother. That's out of Grand Night City, right? And we working out of there now. And I was talking to Tito, and we was talking about why he likes to train with Coach Byron. And he said, my dad taught me a lot about boxing. He taught me everything I can do as far as the jab. And rest in peace to Coach Lopez. He was like, my dad taught me about the jabbing, the hooks, the defense, this and that. He said what Coach Byron brought to it was a more pro style and a pro approach to the whole game. As far as the training, the eating, the strength and conditioning, everything. You get what I'm saying? And he brings that to the table, and he helps. He just gave him a different aspect of seeing the game. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know how to jab. It's like a basketball player. Yeah, you know how to shoot. You in the NBA, but then you got a shooting coach. This guy, all he do is help you shoot. You got another guy over here. All he do is help you with defense. You get what I'm saying? And he ain't shoot one-on-one with you. No, I'm gonna just keep throwing you the ball. Nope. Put your elbow here. Nope. Bend your knee. Like, it's just the little tweaks. You get what I'm saying? The little idiosyncrasies. Like, every time you do it just like this. And I think that's one thing that people are missing. Like, so it's not just that, it's the mentality of it too. And if you got gifted with that strength, you need to use that. Don't be in there trying to touch jab sometimes. No, power jab. Punch through your target. So shout out to Coach Musa. We worked with him before too, but like I said, sometimes you need a perfect marriage between the fighter, the coach, but everybody else matter too. You know what I'm saying? The cut man, he used to box. His sons used to box with Lil B. So it's consistent. It's consistent. You need consistency. And you need a strong team, because you need a team, even though it's one person there throwing the punches. Teams matter, and the mentality of that whole team matters too.
And Mark, would you say that also goes into the confidence of Brian Norman Jr. as well? Do you think he feels more complete and more confident and buying into the game plan more, that he feels like he has a more complete team around him? You know what I'm saying, in comparison to before?
I can't say that. What I can't, because he's always been extremely confident. He's always been extremely confident and had enormous belief in himself. So I won't say that per se, but you know how they used to sell us all the time, once you become a champion, you get like a little bit better.
I said that earlier. Mark.
Yeah.
Earlier, I touched on that earlier.
Every time I talk to be either after the fight or either like at the gym after the fight, or we might be somewhere else, and he'll be like a guest, like for a local event here, and I'll be there doing media coverage, and I'll be like, and everybody's coming up to him with their sons, like other fathers and trainers from different cities and different countries all over the world, literally. And they ask him for advice. I said, and I always ask him, I'm like, how's it changing? I always ask him, how's your life changing? And then that you a world champion, you're like, nothing changed. And then I ask him again, how's it changing? Nothing changed. How's it changing? Starting to change a little bit. How's it changing now? Man, it's changing a little. It's changing a lot now. Then I ask him again. I was like, bro, I just saw you at the Hawks game. They interviewing you. I saw you on TV. They interviewing you ringside at the Hawks game. You can't tell me things ain't changing no more. He was like, yeah, it's changed a little bit. It's changing a little bit. And but what comes with that is what you do with it. And some people just get comfortable with it and be like, I'm HIM, homie, I'm him. And then you go in there and start getting your ass beat. Respect is part of my language. And you start just slipping. Some people take that and they pour more into themselves. Like, So now I'm in the gym instead of me going in the gym working for 3 hours, 3 days a week. I'm in the gym working 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. You get what I'm saying? Because you know you got something that everybody wanted, and they want to take you from you. And I'm gonna let them know is how, in the words of the great Devin Haney, there's levels to it. And when you in there watching Lil B spar these dudes, man, you really see it. So all this level stuff, I'm like, well, what level you think Lil B at? If he a bum, okay. If you believe Devin Haney is correct and Lil B's a bum, and everybody believe that, y'all should be putting y'all money on first round knockout by Devin Haney, or Devin Haney by knockout in under 3 rounds, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do to a bum, right? If you don't belong in there, what you supposed to get him out. But nobody believes that this kid is a bum. I don't think Devin Haney believes that. He's really trying to talk himself up, trying to talk himself into it. I think he said there earlier, like, it's not going to work, though, with this guy. This guy has an immense amount of self-belief. That's why he can go in there and run 5 miles in 30 minutes, bro. Like,
Wow.
that's not easy to do. 5 minutes.
I'm looking at the mentalities, right? And man, like, I can read people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real good people reader. And when you look at Brian, like, bro, he ain't playing. Like, he not worried about nothing, all that shit that's going on, all the hype, all the talk. He like, hey, I'm not worried about none of that shit. I'm finna go in. I'm on this boy head. Fuck with it. What you talking about ain't none of that shit with the fans thing. What they ain't. I'm not worried about none of that. I got a job to do, and I'm going in here to put in work. That's it. That's all. And man, he just got a different type of confidence about him, a different type of aura about him. Like, he not trying to say shit to get Devin discouraged, or he ain't trying to talk himself up. Like, the little shit that he's saying, you can see that he really about the business. Now, Devin is saying a lot, but a lot of that shit, we question it. Like, do you really believe that? You really believe this man is a bum? You really believe that you levels above and you this and that? Because when you run the take back, you regurgitate the same exact thing that Floyd was saying. So it's kind of like, it sounds good, but is this something that you really believe in your head? Do you really believe this shit in your mind? Because if you really
and Keon, and if he doesn't believe it, why is he saying it then?
Exactly.
Oh, I know what he said. Because there's nothing wrong. Because sports mentality matters, bro. Sports psychology is a real thing. There's nothing wrong with like, people used to get mad at me. Like I said, I've been rocking with Devin Bill for a minute. And they used to get mad when he used to say he's going to be the next Floyd Mayweather or bigger than Floyd Mayweather. And they was like, oh, that's whack. You shouldn't say that. I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with sports psychology and telling your kid, like, hey, you're going to be bigger than everything. You're great. You're great. You're great. Tiger Woods' father used to tell him that all the time. Tiger, nobody can beat you but yourself. You're the best. Serena Williams' father, same thing. Just pouring that into him. Michael Jordan's father and mother used to tell him, you're the best. You're the best. You can do whatever. You can play basketball. You can play baseball. You can do whatever you want to do. Nobody's going to stop you but yourself. And I think more of us should be sowing and pouring into our kids that way as well. Tell your daughter, hey, look, this cheerleading competition, you already won it. You know what I'm saying? You just need to make sure everybody around there is going to be on point like you are, because you got this. You've been studying. You know your steps. You've been practicing. You know, you got this. But it's a team effort. Make sure everybody on your team is as on point as you. But sports psychology is a real thing. So it's nothing wrong with that. And I ain't going to lie, shoot. I be out here mentoring the little bitties, and I be telling them that. And I don't believe that shit about them sometimes. But I need them to believe it.
No,
and that, what you said, Mark, is so accurate. And you know, clearly,
like,
Bill.
They be taking a shot. I be like, Jordan.
Right.
I be like,
but it's like, you know, Bill's been doing that. But do you think when you see the performance against Jose Ramirez,
he won
and
that
you
fight.
see what Shane Mosley said, And you hear, and I was out there in the city that day, and I talked to a lot of people in that camp before the fight. That whole camp was going into that fight believing Devin Haney was going to stop Jose Ramirez, bro. And not only did he not stop Jose Ramirez, but he didn't even try to stop Jose Ramirez. Now, Bill Haney took the blame and said he put the game plan in there that's why Devin performed that way. Okay, but so can we question Bill Haney's confidence in his son at that point then? If it wasn't Devin, was it Bill? And is Bill's guidance in that corner Saturday night going to also play a super integral part in what we see out of Devin in that fight?
How do you go? Let me ask you
real quick, Key. I'll keep it real short. Let me reply. That's what Bill's supposed to say. That's what a good father does. You take those arrows for your son or your daughter. That's what a man does. You take those arrows for your family. So I have no problem with what Bill's saying. My only problem with that is I don't believe him. I believe what Clay said. I believe what Shane Mosley said and everybody else in that camp. They went into there with a different game plan. Once he got hit, Devin did what he wanted to do in there. And from there, Bill adjusted and told him what to do. But that wasn't the quote-unquote game plan from the jump. We just going to outbox him, stay away, don't get cut, don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Win this one, look good on the next one.
How do you go? My question is, right, how do you go from that, right, what we seen against a Jose Ramirez that's much less dangerous than Brian Norman to this Debo dead? Because that's what everybody running around talking about, Debo dead. I'm hearing a lot of, Devin, I got even some in the chat, I just seen it already. I got Devin by knockout. How do you go from that performance to Debo dead overnight? Because that's basically what it is. It's from
tell me to show you that bet slip, Key. Tell me to show you a bet slip that they got dead by knockout.
You took my favorite line. Show me a bet slip. If you can't show me a bet slip, I don't believe you. If you that confident, show me where you bet it at.
Yeah, I don't believe that. But also too, I think that is delusions of grandeur, bro. It's hyperbole. And I don't think they realized people were joking at first. It was satire. Debo Dev, it was a joke. And never forget, Debo loses the fight. When he finally fought in that movie, he lost. And got his ass beat in the next movie too. Like Debo kept taking L.
Mark, I'm caught up right now. I just can't leave this alone and I need help. Why is Bill Haney, why was he saying Debo Dev? Why is Devin doing all this talking? I don't believe those people believe that about Brian Norman, bro. So what's going on? Are they? So my thing is Devin, is that all for Devin's ego? Is Bill still trying to motivate Devin and convince Devin that he is who he's been telling the world he is? Or is that team confident about the product they produce and what that product is going to do on Saturday?
Both things could be true with that, Clay.
Hey,
what's up, Key?
Look at this. Devin Haney by KO plus 2,800. Devin Haney by TKO plus 1,200. So if y'all really believe this Debo Dev shit, you could put $100 up and win $2,800.
Good Christmas for you and your kids. Oh, good Christmas.
Or you could put $100 up for the TKO and win $1,200. If I believe that, my money already. Hey, if I really believe that, I'm already. Hey, what you talking?
Yeah, you can't leave that money on the floor. If you really believe that, you can't leave that money on the floor, bro. If Devin Haney doesn't fight confident, if he doesn't fight confident, forget about if he wins or if he loses. If he doesn't fight confident, is Devin Haney's career forever? Or as far as credibility behind his career, does it hurt his entire career based on the talking of Bill and the talking of Devin in the build up to this fight? What I'm saying? Do we stop believing Devin? Do we stop believing Devin?
People don't believe him now. Look, that's the thing. Devin is walking. So when people ask, I think y'all just said it too. It's like, well, Why do you go from that fight and that performance into this? If what we're hearing is true, a $36 million contract, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm playing with house money. Also, what comes with that is also what comes with that, people picked at me. They made memes about me after the Ryan fight. They picked at me, made memes about me after the Ramirez fight. I have nothing to lose. People are already saying this and that and about me. Okay, cool. Let me go in there and get this paper. Win, lose, and I think they even said at one point, it was like, yeah, man, we going after the bad guy, man. We should deserve credit for this. I deserve credit for fighting the bit. It's like they already making concessions. So on one side, they sound super confident, but on the other side, they sound like they're already making concessions for when things don't go their way. Well, we went after like I said before, we went after the toughest guy. Brian Norman was the best man at his division. You know, I go after the best competition. Hopefully we can run it back. I can hear it now.
I'm gonna tell y'all something that none of us have touched on, right? And what Devin, he put a lot of pressure on himself, right? I talked about that, about the things that he said about Brian Norman, that he's a bum, that everything, you know what I'm saying, he levels above him, he gonna do whatever he want to him when he want, you know what I'm saying, fight bank, all that, right? We talked about all that. But one thing that we didn't touch on, that it's been a little bit of time and people may have forgot about it, but I'm gonna bring this shit back up. What really hurt him is his last performance he put on, and then that was followed up by Canelo Alvarez and motherfucking William Skull. Those two performances, the whole boxing world was talking about that shit. That shit at that moment brought boxing down to the ground. People was like, this is why people don't want to watch boxing. This is why we don't pay for this shit, right? And all eyes was on Shakur Stevenson next, right? Because they had that narrative that, well, Shakur, he fights like this, he gonna do the same.
Tom and Jerry.
Yes, right? We seen Shakur go out there and he said, I'm gonna kill that narrative about myself, right? Because he knew he couldn't go out there and put on no, well, I'm just gonna box and win easily where fans gonna think it's boring, right? He knew that he had to go out there and kill that narrative at that moment because what he was following, right? All that Tom and Jerry shit. I say that to say this. Devin was the face of that shit. Devin and William Skull. Devin Haney and William Skull. He cannot afford to go out there and put on another performance like that. Right? He can't do it. That's why I'm saying he gotta go out there and he has to fight. Because if he go out there and put another performance on like that, win, lose, or draw, that $36 million deal might not be $36 million. And what I'm saying by that is they always have the option to say, you know what? We ain't got no fight for you right now.
Right.
Period.
We told you we'd give you the $36 million for, but hey, such and such really, he tied up. He don't want to fight you. You know what I'm saying? He's saying that you're boring and he don't want to go in there again. So we know how boxing goes.
Or we rather see him against Brian Norman.
Yeah. So we did tell you we had the $36 million for the next 3 fights, but you know, them fights ain't panning out right now.
Yeah, we seen Turkey Al-Sheikh do that too. And what goes to my mind is the Nick Ball versus who's the kid from Mexico? Man, I met him too with Nonito. Cool dude. Vargas.
Yeah.
Yep. Vargas was the champion. Vargas and Nick Ball had a draw. We ain't seen Vargas fight again with Turkey Al-Sheikh in Riyadh season. We seen Nick Ball a lot because they like the style of the fight and the performance. So you can lose and still be a winner. You get what I'm saying? So they're gonna reward a valiant effort and a good performance more than they reward a win and a lackluster showing.
I agree. Mark, can I ask you a question? Can you share?
Hold on, before you say that, what you say, Key?
Mark, sorry.
What you say, Key? You just said something.
No, I was just saying to wrap it up is that's one thing that we didn't touch on is that we gotta really look at the situation is that we looking at Brian as well. He got to go get a knockout, but we ain't talking about that. Devin really got to go in that fight because he can't fight like he did no more. Turkey Al-Sheikh ain't going to accept it. The fans ain't going to accept it, but more so the fighters, right? That the fighters that he thinking that he got big fights coming up against, they're not going to pay for it, and them fighters are going to have excuses. We don't want to fight him. And we know how boxing go, man. So he can't afford to do that. So he got a lot of he got to show out. He got to show like, okay, I'm willing to go out here and fight. And with that being said, he's gonna have to fight like he did against a Jorge Linares or Ryan Garcia, because those or Regis, those are fights where we
take risks. He's gonna have to take risks.
Yeah, we those are fights where we see Devin actually go out there and let his hands go and fight, and he's gonna have to fight that type of fight. And with that being said, hey, you stepping into real dangerous territory against B-Norm the Storm. But go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, what's your question?
No, Mark, if you want to, Brian Norman Sr. and Jr. have a side of the story as far as how this fight was made and why it was made, in comparison to what Bill Haney, obviously, and Devin Haney has been saying about how this fight was made. And Bill has made it sound like they picked Brian Norman, right? That's his whole thing. We picked Brian Norman, so it would have everybody believe that there was a weakness in Brian Norman that Bill saw. But Senior has another story. His story is they were more cornered into this fight. Like they didn't necessarily have a choice as much as they would like to say they did. Do you have any hands-on, like on the ground perspective as to the realities behind the creation of this fight?
I don't. What I don't. I gotta believe what was put out there as well. By Bill himself. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm wearing the Brian Norman hat doesn't mean I can't be impartial on certain things, right? They put out a hit list. Brian Norman's name was not the first on that hit list. They had other names in front of them. They wanted the Ryan rematch. They wanted even after Ryan lost, they still would have took that fight. And I'm not mad at Devin for taking that fight even after Ryan lost, because after what transpired, you want to get that back in blood. So I have no problem with that. They wanted to fight Boots. They said Boots wanted a catch weight or at 152 or something like that. They wanted Teofimo Lopez. They wanted Richardson Hitchens. It was like they had a list of guys that they wanted before that, but I don't even think that matters.
Right.
I even told Senior that's my dog, but I was like, man, who gives a fuck? He was like, man, but they lying, dog. I was like, man, who gives a fuck? Excuse my French, but I'm in France. I'm like, yo, it don't matter. We signed up for the fight now. No different. I think that was a narrative that was pushed out there and it was just fodder for the internet and wait for guys to make a little change on the internet, on their streams, and keep Rent-A-Center from coming to pick up the kids' bunk beds, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter.
Them beds.
But at the end of the day, the golden rule is whoever got the goal make the rules, and you don't make those decisions. Turkey Al-Sheikh made those decisions. It's not a DHP promotion where you just say, I'll take him and give me him. If that was the case, you would have been the first name on your list, but that's not true. So I think it's when it comes down to it, it's like if we're paying you $36 million for 3 fights, we're gonna decide who you're gonna fight, bro. And I don't think it takes a boxing aficionado or genius to realize, yeah, that's probably how it's gonna go. If I'm paying for a product, I'm gonna pick the product that I want to fight. And I think Turkey Al-Sheikh and all of them really made that happen. And then Devin does have a right to refuse.
But he be refusing 36 million too as well, right? So do you believe in a perfect world? So do you believe the Haneys would have picked Brian Norman without the influence of Turkey Al-Sheikh, or would they have moved around?
That money was if it was top rank offering him that amount of money, I think he would have took that fight. Devin gonna get his dollars.
Right. Well, I'm saying outside of the money. I'm talking about just as far as his confidence in being able to beat Brian.
But what's the point of fighting without the money? He a prize fighter.
Facts.
Why would you give that chance to a young Brian Norman Jr. who's a relatively unknown champion? No. If I could fight Barrios and get that kind of money, I would do it. If I could fight Martin Nash and get that kind of money, I would do it. So
Facts.
I think,
Facts.
man, I just
I'm just trying to be fair. I'm just trying to be fair to the kid too.
Regardless of the money that's involved in it, man, I just take my hat off to him for taking the fight, bro. I don't even really look into it like that because it's cats that we know have way more money on the table than that, and they'll turn that shit down just because they're afraid to take that risk in front of the whole world. You feel you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of shit that go on behind the scenes with other fighters that's, you know, had 10, 12 million dollars in front of them to take fights, and they didn't turn it down because they ego and they pride can't take losing in front of the whole world. So, bro, like, I'm as a fan and as a athlete myself, former athlete, because everybody know I'm way too old even hey, but you know, just the competitiveness, right? Knowing where that what a real competitive nature come from, right? He ain't got to do that shit, right? Because scared money will make you turn down a lot of shit. And with that being said, man, I just I myself, right? And I'm not even saying you looking into it, you know, that deeply, but myself, Clay, when it comes to that shit, bro, I just be thankful that, you know, we get in the fight, and he is one of the ones that if the money is right, you know, we ain't never heard him say or turn down no smoke. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and so, man,
Except with that Shakur fight, he could have fought Shakur, right?
He did. But see, the thing is with that situation, do I think for a second that he wanted to fight Shakur, or that he would have fought Shakur at 135, knowing, and I've been saying this shit, absolutely not. He wasn't gonna fight Shakur at 135, but right, Shakur didn't call his bluff. You know what I'm saying? Shakur called
taking the 25%.
Shakur called his bluff by you know, eventually taking it to the WBC and making them mandate the fight, right? But he didn't call his bluff off the rip, and that was my only thing.
By taking the 25% is what you mean?
You should have called his bluff right out the rip. It said, "Look, I bet, make it happen." Make it happen. I'm gonna call. You know what I'm saying? I already told Bob, let's get it popping. I don't give a damn what you are. Yeah, make it happen. And see, that's how you call it bluff. If he had done that, do I think that Devin and Bill would have been like, yeah, make the fight? No, I think that it would have been on.
They would have did the same thing though, right? They would have dropped the belt, is in your opinion, or what?
Yeah, it would have been like, you know what? It would have. It's because you got to think, man. These fighters, with social media and the fans just jumping off of everything, these fighters, man, they get a chance to sit back and really, okay, how we gonna play this? How we gonna play this? Shakur, he wasn't prepared to play the social media game, right? To win the fans over. Like Bill is smart and calculated. You know what I'm saying? But like Bill and Devin, they're like, okay, we know how to play the game in the social media, right? We got Shakur to jump out there on the social media. Now we gonna play the game, right? And so that's what they did, and it made him look like, oh well, you didn't take the 25% and all that, you know. And Shakur wasn't really trying to play that game. He was like, I'm not playing no games. This is what it is. And so he should have, you know, because he moved off of emotions, right? They moving off of smarts. They know how social media and all that shit play, right? So they sitting back laughing like, yep, we got his ass. Yep, we know him already because we grew up with him. We know how he gonna act off emotions, and we gonna sit back and watch him act off emotions and flip the whole narrative. We're a mastermind. You know what I'm saying? Shakur wasn't, he's not, he ain't that type of person, right? So he just raw with it, and they like, yeah, we got his ass because he's emotional. You know, he gonna jump off. First thing he did wrong is jump on a motherfucking on X with that shit. Oh, dog, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta come with a better offer than it. Now you didn't open up the floodgates. Ain't nobody even know that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now you open up the floodgates. Now they're like, everybody like, oh, they didn't send you an offer and you didn't turn it down when it wasn't never, it was verbal. You know what I'm saying? Later on, we found out it was a verbal.
Yeah.
Called him, you know what I'm saying? And was like, yeah, you know, Bill and Devin talking about some 25%. He laughed. He said he laughed at the shit. The person that called him was like, yeah, they ain't really serious, and they laugh. But then he goes on the motherfucking X app and jump on X with that shit, right? Instead of going behind the scenes and hitting Devin Haney and like, hey, dog, come on, dog, quit playing with me. You already know I ain't finna. But he jumped on social media, right? So once he jumped on social media, Bill and Devin, they smart.
Lost his leverage. He lost his leverage.
Lost his leverage. They smart. They sitting back like, yeah, we got this motherfucking stupid ass. And I'm not calling Shakur stupid. I'm just
that's what they thinking.
Like they like, yeah, we got this motherfucking ass. Bingo. That's all we needed. That's all. Now, because the thing is, they already had made the decision that we can't make the weight no more. Right. So I'm not saying that he wouldn't have fought Shakur if it was at 140, right? But he wouldn't fight Shakur or nobody at 135 no more because he was dying trying to make that weight. So I'm gonna fight a guy that I know that it's gonna be tough for me to beat at any weight division. You think I'm gonna fucking kill myself and fight him at 30% of myself?
And I never had a problem with that neither, Key, because we all used to talk about how Dev looked like a damn skeleton, like how his eyes was sunken on the scale. But the second Cambo, from the first, second Cambosis fight, even the Loma fight, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, did you see his Instagram post from the beginning of the year? Because I remember seeing that and somebody pulling it out. Like, he didn't really have any intentions of fighting Shakur, but they played the game so beautifully that Shakur ended up looking bad in the situation. The beginning of the year, he posted his goal was to go undisputed and then fight Loma and then move up. And he did exactly that. You know, so it's like, hey, they played the game for what it's worth, man.
And Shakur jumped out there, you know what I'm saying, off of emotions. And didn't realize where.
And to be fair, Keith, Shakur thinks he's being transparent with the audience and the fans and the social media. He's like, yo, I'm putting it all out of there. And look, it backfired. They gave him a name, Shakur Twitterson, because he communicates with the fans. But it's rare you have a fighter that's that transparent. And I think
now he's starting to learn because you've seen him tone it down. Now he's seeing like, okay, I can't really be, you know what I'm saying, just all the way raw on social media because anything that I say, they're going to flip it against me.
It's going to be used against you. But also, too, that comes with being a father, Key. I think that's making him mature as well, being a father and leaving top rank and being more in charge of his business. I think that helps as well. Would you not agree?
Yeah, for sure. But as far as Devin Haney with that situation, right? Hold on. Oh yeah, as far as Devin Haney with that situation, I think that fighters got egos, right?
Yes, sir.
So when Devin started getting pressed by Shakur, his whole thing now is like, okay, I think that Devin would have fought him, right? It's like, okay, I don't want to duck no smoke. But then if I just come flat out and say that, you know, I'm moving up, I'm not fighting him after Bill had already said we stand at the weight division, because Bill was doing too much talking when you know your son can't make the weight no more, right? So that put Devin back up against the wall. So now with his ego, boxers, all these fighters got egos. Now he got to figure out, okay, how do I get up out of this without making it look like I'm ducking wreck, right? And Shakur gave him a way out. He gave him a way out. Now, Shakur had it, like I said, if he had to press the issue, like, yeah, I take that 20% and call this bluff, then I believe it would have been a much different story, right? But we can't say that for 100% fact because he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a
I agree
beautiful
with you,
play
Keith.
by.
That's exactly
I think that was a beautiful play by Bill Haney, man. Like, and that was just, that's just that game that he has and that understanding of the psychology of Shakur. He gambled and said, listen, if we can get a big payday, let's get the big payday and let's move away with a payday and take the fight. But more than likely, I have a feeling he was betting on Shakur doing what he did. And he was already scouting for the next fight at 140. He already knew what was going to happen, man. He gave him an opportunity and walked away.
Eddie Hearn kind of snitched him out. I did a video about it back then, right? And I played the audio. Eddie Hearn said that Devin had already hit him right after the Lomachenko fight and told him, hey, I told you I was coming back to you, Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done with my contract at with Top Rank. I've been telling you I'm coming back and hey, I'm moving up. He said right after, he said the whole time, even before he fought Lomachenko, he was in contact with Devin, and Devin was telling him, my next fight, I'm moving up. I'm done with this weight division. And then he said right after the Lomachenko fight, when he had to fight, he spoke to him and he said he was moving up, and that's when they started working on getting regions. So he already had known that he wouldn't stand at 135. Like, that was already a done deal. But like I said, they just outsmarted Shakur in that situation. And when it comes to social media, it ain't about if it's true or not. It's about how many people you can get to believe that shit and regurgitate that shit, bro. It is what it is. We know what it. You know what I'm saying? Us grown folks, we know how this shit works, bro. But Nick J, salute to Nick J. She said at that time Shakur knew Devin's plan. That's why I never respected him getting in the ring talking about Lomachenko 1, etc. That was janky. Well, I didn't like that. Like, that's one thing I didn't like that Shakur did is when he, was saying that Lomachenko won the fight, because for one, I didn't agree with that shit.
No,
but as far as him, I didn't like that shit. I was like, what the fuck is you doing, Shakur? Like, why are you doing interviews talking about Lomachenko 1? That's the shit I didn't like. And then I talked about that shit back then. Like, what is like that shit?
You did. I was there.
Y'all don't just tell me about that shit. You remember Mark Nash, but as far as him getting in the ring and pressing Devin, to me, I didn't have a problem with that, because at this point, you still in the weight division. Now it's not I'm not looking out for no other fighter or what no other fighter got planned to do, right? I want the smoke. So, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have no problem with him getting in the ring and pressing Devin, but I did have a problem with that shit that he said going around, on the mic, especially watching the fight live and then getting right on the mic right afterwards and saying, oh, yeah, I thought Lomachenko won. And like, bro, at least go back and watch the fight.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because now I've been to more fights, live fights, than I can even count, right? And sometimes when you go back and watch a fight without all that crowd noise, and it's different, bro. It's different. And at least he could have went back and watched the fight before he said that shit. And at that time, I think that Devin and him was kind of straight. You know what I'm saying? They was cordial.
No, because they had already had that back and forth on another channel, and they was like, we were supposed to we already said we was gonna fight one day. We agreed to that, and it was just supposed to be at a later division. They had already had a fallout. It was on Ace Money Show.
Okay, well,
they had already on Ace Money Show.
Yeah, regardless of that, like, I mean, I didn't agree. Maybe I just felt that because I didn't agree with what he was saying. Like, I didn't think that Loma won that fight, like, to me, at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just, it is what it is. It ain't a big issue, but it's like, hey, it is what it is, But I think at that time,
You went back and watched it since then, Key?
Huh?
I went back and watched that fight the other day with my pops. And that was like, I think that was the first time I watched it in like some years, in a few years. Loma versus Yeah, have you watched it again since then? When was the last time you watched it?
I watched that fight, man. I think I watched that fight at least 5 times.
Okay.
Because
And you watched it, huh?
because I like, to me, bro, I'm like, man, I'm like, how's people saying that Lomachenko won this fight? Like every time I watch it, I see the same shit, and every time I watch it,
no commentary. You watch it with the commentary.
I don't have no commentary on. Hell no. Like when I initially watched fights, yeah, I had the commentary on, right? But I like to watch it with the commentary first, hear the bites, because because when I watch it with commentary, I know what I'm watching. A lot of people let that shit influence them, because I'm watching most of the time. I'm hearing the commentary like, what the fuck is y'all talking about?
They be having groupthink.
Like,
right?
Yeah, like what are y'all talking about? But when I go back and watch the fight and really break down the fight, I always turn the value down. You know what I'm saying? Always. I never had a commentary yet. But I just couldn't understand how people continue to say that Lomachenko won that fight, because every time I scored it 9-3 for Devin. You know, but the biggest gap was for Lomachenko. Like the 1 or 2 rounds that Lomachenko like really won, he dominated, right? It was a lot of close rounds in that fight. Very competitive close rounds, you know, nip and tuck that you know, I gave to Devin because he had the cleaner work, the cleaner body work. I think a lot of people don't score clean body work, you know.
Say that again, kid. Say it again for the people in the back.
You have to score the clean body work. Yeah, man. I don't think it was one of Devin's best performances at all. You know, in going into that fight, I thought that Devin was going to separate himself from the competition, right? I was one, and I put money on Devin. I won money on that fight, but I thought that Devin was going to separate himself from the competition. And after the fight, right before they announced who won, I thought that Devin was going to get robbed. And the reason I thought that Devin was going to get robbed because of the circumstances, he wasn't, you know, necessary. That was his last fight at Top Rank. I thought that the rounds were too close, you know, and he didn't separate himself from the competition. You know, yeah, I thought that
he banked enough of those early rounds, Key, that if he lost, I thought it would have been a robbery. I never in my wildest dreams that I thought the next few days I would wake up and everybody, and even now to this day, people have had a lot of time to rewatch the fight and analyze it. I never thought I would still hear people saying he lost that fight, he lost it. I don't hear a lot of pros, though. I don't hear a lot of pundits say that. I hear a lot of fans say it, or bots, or people in the chat, you know, faceless characters say it. I don't see too many people putting their face on him like, yeah, and I thought he lost. Maybe Bernie the Boxer, you know what I'm saying, might be the only one. But for the most part, I don't hear a lot.
Paulie Malignaggi.
Paulie thought he lost that fight too?
Paulie hate Devin, though. You can't really take Paulie.
Yeah, Paulie don't like Devin for sure, but he goes on the record. He doesn't only feel like Loma won that fight. He feels like it was clear and that Loma was robbed in that fight.
Loma
didn't throw enough punches, though. I think Devin banked enough of those early rounds that you just had to give it to him. You just you had to give him them early rounds.
Hey, Clay, I might have a beef for both of y'all since we're talking about that fight, right? Since we're talking about that fight, and like I said, it was. I think
polite beef. Let's go.
I think they got to mix up because it was a lot of rounds real close, right? But I got to beef for. I don't know because I haven't heard your take on this, Mark, but I heard Clay's take on this, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Clay, because somebody brought it up. I think it was Nick J that said she got to go back and watch Bud and Canelo. Now, I think we all agree that Bud won that fight clear as day. You know
Bud versus who?
Bud and Canelo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all going to agree that
100%. 100%.
1,000% clear as day. I picked Bud to win. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the ones that was like, man, Bud gonna get his ass beat in the very, very like a year before. No, hold on. Don't. A year before, when he first started talking about fights, right? And Clay know this, and then leading up, when it got closer, then when the fight really was announced, I was like, yeah, Bud gonna beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? I got Bud. I put money on Bud. I can show y'all my betting slip. I won a lot of money on Bud. So I really believe that Bud was gonna beat his ass, right? But with that being said, a lot of y'all is going around talking about that Bud beat him more convincingly than Floyd Mayweather did. Bud beat him better than Floyd Mayweather did, right? And salute to Bud Crawford. Hell of a fight.
Wait, let me just clear one thing. It's not as and you know what? I think I might feel that way, right? I think but that's not what I was saying when I said that. Because if you asking me right now, do I feel like Bud beat Canelo more convincingly? I think I feel like I'd have to watch it again because Floyd really made Canelo look like an amateur to a degree, like he wasn't on that level. Bud just beat him up as far as I was concerned. But what I was asking was whose victory was a more significant victory? Which victory held more weight? Being that Canelo fought Mayweather at a catch weight, right? It wasn't a rehydration clause, but it was a catch weight, and it was early in Canelo's career after Canelo's gotten all that experience building up to that moment with fights with Triple G, even Dimitri Bivol, Erzandi Lara. I mean, all the fights he did in between to get up to this point, he was a more experienced Canelo. I don't think anybody would argue that. Does Terrence Crawford's fighting Canelo Alvarez for undisputed in his weight class with no rehydration clause hold more weight than Mayweather's fight, basically giving Canelo Alvarez the opportunity?
Yes. Okay. So when you put it that way, right? Yes, Terrence Crawford's victory over Canelo, right? It hold more weight because what was at stake, what Canelo had gone on to become as we see him now, right? All-time great, right? The magnitude of the fight and all of that, right? But you put it in a different type of perspective right now, right? But,
you skipped the weight clause, Key. He brought that up too. You skipped that just then.
Okay, the weight clause or whatever, right? But all that off the table, what most people were saying that Bud beat him way more convincingly and way more viciously than what, Bud had a better performance and beat him, more convincingly than Floyd Mayweather did. And to that, I gotta say, hell no, he didn't.
Who won more rounds, Key?
No, he doesn't. Floyd.
Who won more rounds, Floyd or Bud?
Floyd Mayweather 10-2 that boy.
I don't know. That's why I said, even if you ask me the question right now, because I didn't speak to that before, but if you're asking me right now, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like Terrence beat him more convincingly as well. But that's not what I was saying when I was speaking before.
How much time you got, the Key? One day, Key, we got to do it like on a Sunday or like on a day.
Watch the fight.
No. We're gonna really it's gonna be a long watch, but we gotta watch round 1, Crawford Canelo, round 1, Mayweather Canelo. Then we watch round 2.
How we gonna do that? I want to do that. We gonna do that on a private StreamYard or something. We can't watch it on the channel.
No, we can do it on yes, sir.
You remember when I know Mark probably remember when I used to do it back in the day. What we would do is if it is like on YouTube or a program, everybody that got the shit right, we'll all watch it at the same time, right?
But the audience don't see it.
Yeah, where the audience don't see it. We'll pause it at the same time. Because me and Money used to do this shit all the time when we used to do the live, right? This was before you was on YouTube, Clay. And so the audience can't see it, but we gonna go through the fight live, right? And then after every round, we're gonna break down the round. You score the round, and then we gonna go to the next round, and that's how we go,
Yeah, but we can set that up. It's feasible.
I would love to be part of something like that. That'd be awesome.
I got you. We set it up. Put your email in the private chat, and I can email you.
I'm driving right now. I can't do it, but I'll try to remember.
Pull over, nigga. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But I reach out to you.
He's saying that Crawford be the better version of Canelo. Like, that's an argument. We really can't.
Yeah, that's what I said. Now I did say that.
He beat a
I
more.
said, did he beat a better Canelo? Did he beat a better Canelo?
I can't. Like, Canelo was wrecking shit back then.
Canelo had injuries now that he didn't have in the Mayweather fight, so I can't attest.
Facts.
Like, but bro, he's not like I hate to get into
but he had his certain. I mean, he was stronger. He was more comfortable in his own weight class. He had the A side privilege. I mean, and Crawford came up multiple weights classes to fight him, so he was fighting also Crawford. I don't know.
He was a more live, active. Like, he was just more like live, hungry dog when he fought.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree that he was hungry.
I agree.
I don't even like that.
But he was inexperienced too, though.
Yeah, like, did he have the abilities that he has now? Did he have the abilities, the skills? Like, did he have the experience?
I'm gonna say this, Clay. I don't really like to get into that area of it, right? Because when you get into that area, that's when it starts sounding like, oh, well, you're taking credit away from Floyd, or you're taking credit away from Bud, because we're not thinking like that, but that's how it's starting to sound. Like, you know, people gonna take that shit and run with it. You're taking credit away from whatever fighter it may be, right? So that's why I like to stick to, let's watch this fucking fight. Let's break both of them down round by round, and who put on the better performance and who put on a more decisive victory. To me, it was Floyd, because Floyd, I was at that fight live. I went to the Floyd Canelo fight, but like, Floyd put on, just to me, like, Canelo couldn't do nothing with Floyd at all. Now, Bud, I'm talking about from round 1 to round 12.
And I was ringside at that fight. I was ringside at that, and I got the pictures.
But Bud, right, the beginning of Canelo and Bud, although I still had Bud winning, but it was nip and tuck. It was competitive rounds for the first half of the fight.
No,
yes, it was. It was competitive.
Of it. Nah, Terrence schooled Canelo, bro. He schooled Canelo, bro. I scored that like 10-2. I'd have gave it a 9-3 at best.
I had Bud still winning after 6 rounds. Yeah, I had Bud still winning the fight, but the fight was competitive, right? The first half. The Floyd fight was never competitive. Floyd was schooling that boy.
I think what we're missing too is, again, what we was talking about with Norman and Haney, not to bring it back to the hat. But it's the approach to the fight. Bud had a different approach to the fight than Floyd had. Floyd went in there and got style points at times, but Floyd came up with that. He did the look away in the 11th round. Hold on, let me say this. Let me say this thought. In the 11th round, when Canelo swung at Floyd and Floyd did like that and made him hit the ropes, Floyd looked at the ropes like, "What was that?" You seen fighters duplicate that over and over, try to do that, like when they make a guy miss and they looking like, "What was that? What are those?" Right? In the 11th round, or in those rounds right there with in the 10th, 11th rounds with Bud was doing 5 and 6 piece combinations on Canelo. He would shell up, let Canelo come in, Canelo would do a shot. Bro, the dude threw 5 and 6 punch combinations on Canelo and had him ding, 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 ding. So I think that's why. Hold on, let me say the last part. I'm sorry, Keith. I think that's why people say he beat him more convincingly, because in those championship rounds, he separated himself. We saw Canelo look defeated. He got hit with a shot, and he'd be like, "We thought bro." I was ringside. I was going crazy. I said, "He about to quit. He about to quit." He looked like he was about to quit. He looked defeated. He looked like he was going to have a no mas moment. In Floyd's situation, Floyd was clowning on it. We knew he had lost, but it wasn't. He just looked defeated. You get what I'm saying, Keith? He looked defeated.
I get what you're saying, because I agree with a lot of what you're saying, right? When it comes to Bud, the second half, towards like, you know, later in the fight, Bud start dogging him out to where you like, oh, Bud might can stop this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like Bud might can stop, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If Bud really let them hands go, he might be able to stop Canelo right now. We ain't never seen Canelo in no danger like that, right? So I agree with that.
And bro, if Bud had more than one fight at 168, he probably would have stopped him.
I agree with you.
And if they rematch, I think he will stop him.
Floyd, we never thought that with Floyd, but Floyd to me put on a more flawless to where like
flawless.
It was like, okay,
Floyd,
this
Floyd put on a good performance. He did. He put a great performance on, but I think the ultimate litmus test, the ultimate separation between the Floyd Mayweather Canelo fight and the Terrence Crawford Canelo fight was Canelo. Canelo just had to give it up to Terrence. He said it. This was worse than he said it was worse with Terrence than it was with Floyd. He said Terrence was a better fighter. He rated him.
He gonna say that because his
I mean
with Floyd, he gotta say that, and he gonna say that.
I mean, maybe, but maybe not, because you also just said the frustration was there where you thought he was gonna give up. Was the frustration there when he fought against Floyd? I mean, I get it.
But you gotta take in fact the mentality of the fighter, right? When he fought Floyd, he's still young and hungry, right? He still have the mind. He went into the Floyd Mayweather fight with the mindset of can't nobody beat me. I'm still hungry. Like, can't none of these motherfuckers beat me. I'm finna walk through this little ass dude, right? When he fights Crawford, when y'all talk about that, he's like, damn, should I just give up? He done been through so much shit. He done been through fights to where he done already took L's. He done been in fights to where we seen him in the William Skull fight to where he didn't even put an effort in. To where he just walking around the ring following this man, ain't putting no fucking effort in, right? So he's been through so much to where now he's like, damn, you know what? Do I even still got it? I ain't, you know, T.O.
So if Canelo had an opportunity to choose,
I'm already rich. I'm already goddamn near close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Shit, fuck this? Do I still need to be doing this?
If Canelo has an opportunity, after he fought both Terrence and Floyd Mayweather, and he had to choose who he'd fight in a rematch, and this question can go either way. Who does he pick?
Floyd.
It just depends.
No, he's gonna pick the older guy.
Well, no, not older. I'm saying both of them. I'm talking about both of them are like active.
No, but we can't. No. But we can't do that because even active, Floyd is still gonna be 10 years older than him, and Crawford is still gonna be a couple years older than him. But Floyd is the guy who hits and doesn't hit as hard.
Okay. Let me reword it.
You can reword it.
Would he refight the Floyd that he fought, or would he refight the Terrence that he fought?
But what mentality do you have? Because if you get in there with that same,
I'm just saying.
Hold on, Clay, because if you get in there with that same Floyd Mayweather that you fought from back then, with the same mentality that you got going into the ring with Bud Crawford, knowing that you got the mentality to where you don't want to move, you don't want to have to work that much. Okay. Do you really want to go in the ring against a motherfucker like Floyd that's gonna make you pay every time, and he's gonna make you work and move? But see, Bud did a lot of that in the beginning of the fight. Bud did a lot of moving. Bud, you know what I'm saying? He was on his. Bud did something in that fight that I questioned, and y'all heard me question. I said, can Bud go back to the old Bud that he was when he first moved up to 140? When he fought what's the white dude, the fucking
Mean Machine or Postal Victor?
Yeah. I question, can Bud put on a Victor Postal performance to where he's using his legs and his angles and moving around the ring, right? And the question, he answered that question because he was able to do that.
No, he didn't fight that same way though.
Hold on.
Sorry.
He was able to do that. He was at weighing 168 pounds. I don't know what he was weighing on that night, but right at 168, he was able to do that the first half of the fight. He did do that the first half of the fight. He slowed it down the second half of the fight and stood in the pocket more. Right? It was educated movement, but he used a lot of movement, right? It wasn't no Devin Haney type of movement like he did with fucking with Jose Ramirez, but he used angles. He stayed on his back foot a lot. When he got the chance to be on his front foot, get off combinations, he got his shit off. Then he got to moving again, and he was making Canelo come and try to press him right down the second half of the fight. That's what I'm saying. We got to watch the fight. The second half of the fight, because I didn't watch that fight again. The second half of the fight is when Bud settled in his zone and really started like, okay, I'm gonna stay in this motherfucking pocket with him because I see that he can't fuck with me. He can't fuck with me. Like, I'm gonna stay in this pocket and I'm gonna let these hands fly.
ETB, no, Canelo got tired. Canelo got tired, and that's why Bud was teeing off on him at the end of the fight. And I think that's the reason why. I mean, he can never touch Floyd. He can never touch Floyd. That's not even I don't care how old Canelo is. I don't care Canelo's in his prime. Floyd, he can never touch Floyd. Now, if I think Canelo was a little bit younger, he probably have a better shot at Bud. But Bud just in better shape. Bud was just a higher IQ that night. He was just a better fighter, just in general. But Canelo got tired. That's why he was getting, yeah. That was a good game plan by Canelo. I mean, by Bud.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, the second half of the fight is when Bud kind of more starts staying right there and letting his hands go. But the first half, it was a lot of movement. It was educated movement, like my man said, but he was moving. He wasn't just, I'm just finna go in there and just, toe to toe, just standing there. It wasn't that. And people forget, man, Floyd put a lot of hands on him too. Floyd put hands on that boy too. People thought that Floyd didn't do a lot of running in that shit. Floyd was countering them and making them look.
He may look too easy. Floyd just made it look too easy. I think that's why he was just hitting him anytime he wanted to. It seemed like every time Canelo threw a punch, it was like pop, pop, pop. And there's nothing Canelo could do in that fight. I think think about it. What did Canelo do?
Nothing. In the Floyd fight, he didn't have a fucking chance. But I think a lot of people, man, when was the last time you watched Floyd Mayweather and Canelo? Everybody on the panel.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. I know, but in my mind, it's funny you said that. I'm like, I gotta watch that fight again, man.
Don't watch it again. Don't watch it again until we do this rewatch we was talking about.
We gotta set a time up. When is a good? Because
Saturday or Sunday.
Well, not this Saturday. This Saturday ain't gonna be it because
exactly. Yeah, this Saturday ain't good for me. Sunday's good.
I think Sunday we still gonna be all doing live streams and talking about everything that happened on Saturday.
Let's do it.
There's time early in the morning. Early in the Monday,
week.
We can do it early in the morning Sunday before football. We could do it early.
Oh, no, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for nobody.
No, bro, we still gonna be talking about Saturday night, Sunday.
I'm in church every Sunday, so
I go to church too, my brother. So let's do it not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
We can do that.
Okay. Everybody time to rewatch
it.
To rewatch. No, don't watch it on your own.
I think are we gonna watch it together?
No. It was time, man. A whole week, bro.
No.
I'm gonna watch it. Clay, I'm gonna try not to. I ain't gonna watch it.
Clay, you're gonna get confirmation bias. So don't watch. We're gonna have so much boxing from Saturday to rewatch and talk about on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, throughout the week. What's next for Brian? What's next for Haney? What's next for YARDE, BENAVIDEZ, Ben Rodriguez? We got a lot of boxing to talk about. Abdullah Mason. We got a lot to talk about this week. So let's push it to next Sunday.
All right. We could do that.
Did you guys already talk about?
I'm looking forward to it.
About what's his name? About oh God, I can't even think right now.
What's his name? You don't know him. We don't know him, nigga.
I know. I'm trying to think.
He's a nobody, man. He's a damn
YARDE
nobody.
BENAVIDEZ.
You brought
YARDE
up a damn
BENAVIDEZ. You guys
nobody.
already talked about that?
Nah, y'all. Key, you
I
cook.
did
You
hear-
ain't cook on it yet. Go ahead, Key. You take the lead.
I gotta get my ass up in early in the morning.
Okay, all right.
Look, let me set up a live stream and I'll set one up and we can and Key, so then you don't have to host, you can just guess and pull in.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
He said I ain't even gonna pull up.
I go to bed. I gotta get up early, man.
He said, I ain't gonna lie. I
Yeah, I don't Nash. I don't want. I have to go. I'm at work right now, so I can't be committed.
Time, but not right now.
Well, cool. I'm in the studio anyway. I'm gonna work on some music, nigga. I work on
All
some.
right.
Got some shit to do anyway.
Yeah,
All right, you guys. I'm about to get out of here.
Hey, it's past my bedtime. I ain't.
Hold on. What's your pick? What's your pick though? Can I get everybody picks for everybody else on the card? Or Key, are you gonna do another live stream before the fight, or are we gonna have to wait 3 months to see you on a live stream again?
Hey, ain't no secret. I got beat Norm.
I'm not making any picks right now. I'm waiting. My picks.
I got Haney.
I want to see the weigh-in. I got to see the face-off and the weigh-in. Okay. So I'm not making no picks right now.
I got Haney. You got Norman, ET?
Yeah, I got beat Norm for sure.
And Mark Nash, who you have?
He got Norman. Come on now.
You don't see the hat?
I know. I had to add just in case, man. I know you're from the ATL. I know you're from the.
Hey, you know how diabolical that would have been if you would have said Devin Haney right now. That would have. If you would have said Devin.
Yeah, I'm not from Atlanta, bro. I live in Atlanta. I have business, and my company is based in Atlanta, but I'm not from Atlanta.
Oh, you're not from Atlanta? Okay, I thought you were from Atlanta.
No, I'm originally Nash County. Martin Nash, that's the name.
Okay.
I'm originally from Nash County in North Carolina. I lived in Baltimore. I'm an Army vet. So after the Army, I settled in Atlanta and built my business and my company and my homes and my family here. But I got 2 properties in North Carolina still in Nash County, and got a property here in Atlanta. But yeah, I'm Martin Nash, man.
I'm gonna have to pull up on you next time I'm in the A too.
Man, pull up, man. I'm gonna roll out the red carpet for you, brother.
I definitely plan on pulling up. That's
too,
a
right?
fact.
You got a
property.
property.
No more. I did not no more.
I sold it. Okay. Yeah, well, rock with me, man. Like, I'm gonna roll out the red carpet for you. If you want to party, we can party. If you want to go to the gyms, I can take you to all gyms all over the city and introduce you to some great fighters. Bring your camera, your phone. I'll hold the camera for you while you do the interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm humble, bro. So
I appreciate it. I thank you in advance because I plan on taking advantage of that.
I didn't offer that to you, Clay. I offered that to Key because
listen. Key,
no,
tell him if you're talking to me, you're talking to Clay. Anything you don't get me, you don't get to Clay. Tell him.
Hey, Clay, so absolutely. Hey, we all ride together.
Yeah, what's up, Dub?
Dub gonna come up in this motherfucker when the show ended and shit.
With a loser hat on.
With his Cowboys.
With a loser hat on.
I had to take my talents to the Eagles. I had to take my talents.
Wait a minute, Key. Key, come on now.
I had to take my talents. I mean, I announced it to the world, man.
Man, you out of order, man. We calling you out of order. We calling you out of order as we would do anybody else.
Everybody, man. I'm taking my talents to the Philadelphia Eagles, man.
Yeah, you out of order, man. You a bandwagon jumper.
Hey, nah, man. I had to do it, man. Green, my favorite
bandwagon.
Hey, green, my favorite color in the Eagles.
Hold on, Key. Hold on. What? Now, what's that again?
Huh?
You switching mid-shift? You switching like that?
Hold on. And mind you, when he bandwagon jumped, he bandwagon jumped.
Brian Norman and Devin Haney, man.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Let me. I'm out of order.
With football, y'all out of pocket, man.
I didn't say nothing about it. Y'all brought it up. I didn't even say nothing.
Hey, we talking. We came up with this motherfucker with the Cowboys star way up in the motherfucking camera and shit.
Well, what you want me to do? I rep my teams, nigga. What you mean?
Hey, you feeling good about that? Hey, I'm a salute to the Cowboys, man. They won me some good money on Monday night.
Two losers playing each other. Yeah, you bet on the better loser.
Who? My team a winner.
No.
The Cowboys beat another team that's a loser.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, wasn't you you're a Cowboy fan, aren't you?
Hell no.
Eagles fan, dog.
Huh?
I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah, he a wagon hopper. He riding with the winner.
Nah,
weren't you a Cowboy fan at one point though?
Key. Don't do this. Don't do this, Key.
Hold up, Dub. That's
my
not
brother.
fair.
You my brother, and I love you. You my brother, and I love you.
Big Dog Willie, that's not even fair because all of us was Cowboy fans in the 90s. My nigga, like
I wasn't no goddamn Cowboy fans. I hate the Cowboys.
Okay, well,
you don't know nothing about football, anyways.
Shit.
Hey, Doug. Hey, man, I hate to do it, but man, y'all know who Doug look like right now, right?
Who I look like?
Oh, I know who you gonna say. Damn, go ahead, Keith.
No, put the glasses back on.
Put the glasses back on. Who he look like?
Especially with that hat on. I know who you about to say.
Y'all know what he look like.
No, say it.
Another content creator.
He look like he looking for the smoke.
No, say it.
Who I look like? Who I look like?
He said it look like he want the smoke.
It's like knockout.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
wait a minute. Knockout is my brother. I love Knockout.
Yeah, you came up here, y'all came up here looking like twin. You came up here looking like Knockout right now. Like,
that's my brother. I love Knockout. Hey, shout out to Knockout, man. I ain't got no problem with it.
That look like Knockout if he been to the buffet at Golden Corral about 8 times and he grew about a foot taller. Cause Dub is about 6'4". Knockout is like 5'6".
Yeah,
I'm a 6'5" individual.
Knockout only 5'6".
Yeah,
I'm a 6'5" individual, man.
Yeah. So Knockout is short and skinny, and Dub is tall and.
I thought Knockout played basketball. I thought he was a basketball player, college ball player at 5. I thought he was at least 6.
He was a guard. I think. Yeah, he was a guard.
I played small forward, nigga. What you mean?
But but at the collegiate level, you're a big small forward at a little school, and he's a short guard at a little school.
We agree there. We agree.
Yeah, one of y'all niggas ain't no D1 niggas like it.
I was just saying that shit because you know the resemblance. He came on here, you know,
because he light skinned. Key, come on, man.
It was because of the motherfucking cowboy hat, the beard. He looked like Knockout right now. That's just what.
Yeah, because it's light skin. Really? That's what it is.
Shout out to
That's what it is. We're light skinned. That's what it is.
Yeah, Keon saying all light skinned niggas look alike. He's like, you like niggas all look alike to me. That's what he's saying there.
All y'all niggas look the same, man. All y'all niggas look the same.
He's like, all you light skinned Negroes, bro.
But man, it's a hell of a show.
I'm about to slide.
We got to get together and set that up for sure. Because
that's DM, bro. I hit you on the DM on
hit me too, man, because I wanna. That's something I'm excited for that. I wanna watch the fights.
Hey, look, somebody in the chat already saying Clay gonna rewatch right now.
Clay,
you said what?
Clay, drop your info in the private.
I can't, man. I'm driving, man. I'm driving. I can't do it, man. Everybody in the building.
We'll get it. It's I think it'll be on.
Wait, what they say about me in the chat? What they said? Clay, you gonna do what?
They said Clay gonna watch the fight right now. So he's not gonna wait a week.
Nah, I'm gonna hold out. Bro. I'm gonna hold out, man.
But Clay, I think Clay got his information. If you go to his YouTube channel and you click the information or the about page, I think he has his contact information there.
Okay,
I should.
Or you can find him anywhere with Claymore Rain. Just type that in, and you'll get his Twitter, Instagram, and all of that.
Yep.
Yeah, we gonna get together and set up the time and all of that. Big Dog, if you want to do it, whatever.
Big Fraud Willie up here rooting for the wrong team. No, I'm joking.
The Seahawks looking straight though.
No, we're good. Just that quarterback blew it for us. On Sunday, he threw 4 picks.
My offense is looking nasty right now. Eagles offense looking nasty.
Man, Key, don't start this nonsense, bro. I done rock with you for a minute, Key.
Hey, bro.
And you
done been to the rivals. Wait
a minute. Key, you done been a Cowboy fan since I done known you.
I've been a Cowboy. I was a Cowboy fan since the 80s.
And now all of a sudden you're an Eagles fan.
I had to change it, but see, the thing is,
bandwagon niggas like I ain't trying to hear it. You got it. You got it. You got it, bro. You got it. You got it.
Nah, Key smart. Look,
Key, man. A division rival too? A division rival too? Come on, Key.
How do you keep staying with somebody that treats you like shit, bro?
Bro, I can't do it. I ain't one of them delusional. You know what I'm saying? That you know what they tell you. Hey, but the definition of insanity ain't gonna be me.
Say it. Say what's insanity? Tell them, Key.
The definition of insanity, you know what I'm saying? Doing the same shit over and over, expecting a different result.
Yep.
Yes, what Cowboys fans do. Y'all been talking about y'all finna win the Super Bowl for 30 years and ain't even win a motherfucking playoff game, please. Come on, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a Jets fan. I get quiet when football comes up. I get quiet.
Oh yeah.
I get real quiet. I get awfully quiet.
Hey, but get what? At least you a solid individual. You rock with your team. I ain't trying to see a bandwagon nigga jumping around out this motherfucker. This nigga, and then to jump to the division rival, man. Key, come on now, bro.
Yeah, Key, that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. Division rival.
This is some out of order shit.
He said I'm a winner. He said I'm a winner. Damn it, what you want me to do? I'm a damn winner.
Individual. Out of order, and that's what we calling you. I'm gonna call you every time I see you, and I love you, my brother. You are out of order individual.
I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. If I don't dye my shit, all my shit is full gray. My hair, everything, full gray.
What does that got to do with this, though?
Let me
we
say,
don't give a damn what we don't give a damn what
damn those Cowboys.
Like
That's what he just said.
The nigga sound like Fat Joe.
Let him explain.
He sound like Fat Joe out here. Hey,
he's letting you know right now what they put him through.
Let him explain why he said that. Go ahead, Keith.
Let me finish my point, right?
Okay.
I wouldn't finna stick around and have them niggas making me look old. I wasn't gonna let them make me look old. Like, you know what I'm saying? The gray is enough. I wouldn't be finna have wrinkles all in my face and shit looking old. Nah, bro, we ain't finna do that.
Key, we talking about tenderism, man. Now we talking about
tenderism.
We talking about tenderism out here.
Hey, I gotta keep
tenderism. That's what we talking about. Tenderism. What you talking about?
They got you looking stressed out, bro. Them Cowboys got you, put your glasses back on. They got you looking stressed out, bro.
That's that beer and Hennessy. That's what got them looking like.
He said, look like you ain't slept in weeks.
Hey, bro.
They got
you looking stressed out, bro. I wouldn't say it couldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? I let my kids stress me out, not the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, man, I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Leave it alone, man. If you got a second guess, leave it alone. But Keith, man, I appreciate your time and energy, bro. Thanks for allowing me up here to speak my piece, man. Shout out to the whole team, Drabo, Coach Byron, Brian Norman Sr., Brian Norman Jr. Man, we walking into this ring, man. November 22nd, willing to make a statement, man, and solidify our spot in this boxing game. Team Norman gang over everything. You already know. And I can't wait. I can't wait for y'all to see everything the young man's been working on, everything he's been working on, how he's improving. I just can't wait. I can't wait. I'm sorry, what you say? Okay. Yeah, I'm just super excited for everybody to see everything that's been working on and everything that the team's been working on and see it all culminate into something very beautiful, man. Win, lose, or draw, I got to give Devin Haney his credit because it takes a lot of courage to step into that ring, especially against a guy who they say is your kryptonite. You got a problem with a left hook. This guy just had a great knockout with a left hook. Stopped the guy in front of that with like a power jab. So another guy with an uppercut, with a left uppercut. So I just think you got to give Devin Haney his flowers for being what we all wish our favorite fighters were doing. You know, constantly just fighting the best guy out there that's available. So I give Devin Haney his credit. Win, lose, or draw. I can't say nothing bad about the guy. As much as I rock with Team Norman and I'm in the sparring, I'm in the camps and all of that. You can't pay me. I can't be bought because God has blessed me enough where I can't be bought where you can just go make me go out here and just just crap on Devin Haney and do all of that. I don't know what these other content creators are doing out here. I don't get it. Like I said, man, maybe if they don't talk the way they talking, they can't go to the gyms in their city, and you can't go to the fights or rent a center. Gonna come pick up the kids' bunk beds tomorrow. I get it. Have it your way, dog. You have it, Hoss. But me, I'm self-made, self-built, and I like Devin Haney. I like Team Haney. I like the story. I like Brian Norman Jr. I like Team Norman. I love the story. I wish they would have promoted this fight differently and show how the parallels and how this guy's the blue collar guy and this guy's over here with the Bentleys and the pickup truck versus the Bentley and the sport car type style. But they all started amateurs. Their fathers believed in them to enough. Black American, African American guys. Fathers believed them enough, took them to Mexico, built them up, and I just think, man, like this promotion could have been different, but God don't make no mistakes, and we here now. And on Saturday, somebody's gonna be right, somebody's gonna be wrong. But this ain't about Christian versus Muslim. This ain't good versus evil. This ain't a bum versus what. No, man, this is best versus best, and this is what we always ask for in boxing. And for some people to build their whole brands out here, saying we just want to see the best fight the best, and all we doing is tearing down other opponents out here. I'm really disappointed in a lot of these content creators, man. But it is what it is. What you eat don't make me, So I wish you nothing but the best. Wish you guys nothing but the best. I see you at the top if you make it, because everybody can't go. And Saturday, like I said, somebody gonna be right, somebody gonna be wrong, and we're gonna have a good conversation come Sunday morning, which is gonna be Brian Norman Jr.'s birthday. Brian Norman Jr. turns 25 on the 23rd of November. I don't think the kid gonna want to ride home on that plane with a loss. The check gonna make you feel good, win, lose, or draw, but you want to go home with your belt still, and I'm a world champion. So I thank you guys again for your time, your energy. Thanks for allowing me to speak my piece and to sing the praises of Team Norman, also Team Haney. Like you said, should have been main event, but I get it why David Benavidez is main event, and I ain't got no problem with David Benavidez versus Yard being main event. But I love y'all. Hope you love yourself. If not, guess what? God loves you. So does Martin Ash in the neighborhood here at Breaking Beats, where we break down business, entertainment, art, technology, sports, and anything else you and I feel like talking about. We still the #1 hip hop political sports show with a comedy twist. And if you don't know, get familiar, man. Lock in with me. You can find me on all platforms. Martin Ash TV, and I'm Martin Ash everywhere. Martin Ash everywhere. You can find me everywhere, and I spell it with a Q. Love y'all, man. Thank you again, kid. I'll see you on the next one, champ. Peace.
Sir, salute.
My brother.
Salute, Mark. Salute, Mark.
Hey, Mark, real quick, you live tonight?
No, not me. I'm working, but I will be
live
live
tomorrow. He didn't ask you, Clay. He asked me. He said, real quick, Mark, are you live?
Oh, I thought he said Clay. I swear he said Clay, bro. I swear he did. My bad. I thought you said Clay.
Not at all. That's why you be getting my super chats. Refresh the super chat real quick. Refresh the super chat in this motherfucker. I'm gonna do it myself, but probably not, man. I think I don't say everything I want to say. Sometimes I be like, I'm gonna go live, but man, sometimes, bro, I get frustrated talking to boxing fans, bro. Cause most of these dudes won't curl a dumbbell. They call a nigga fat, but they ain't never went in the gym, cut no weight. They ain't never ran 3 miles or 2 miles. Man, I just sometimes, bro, it's like pause. It's like watching how the sausage is made. You get what I'm
live? Are you live tonight? That's all we ask.
No, I'm tired of talking to these boxing niggas already. Reading the chat. I don't talk to boxing niggas enough for the day. Just this little bit I've been up here. I'm good. Like I'm really putting in work, bro. I train, my daughter trains, I'm in gyms, I got a business to run, I got a company to run for me, and I got my dad's company I gotta run. I got shit to do, bro. And I'm still in here building my studio. I ain't even finished moving. I moved the studio to a new location, so I ain't even finished doing everything I wanted to do yet. I'm gonna probably crash out on some beats and work on some music because that's my passion. That's what I really love to do. And work on some new music tonight. I probably won't go live. If so, you probably won't see it. It'll probably be on members only. I don't know. I probably not though. Probably not. I think I got my fix. I got my little fix in for them.
It took Mark 2 hours to say he ain't going live.
Yeah. Right. I think that's pretty much what happened. He ain't going live.
I might do a pre-recorded, some pre-recorded shit like Key be doing. I might do some pre-recordeds at best, but for the most part, I got my fix in right now. Talking to Key and Clay and Bram, I think I got my fix in. I'm good. I got it out.
Hey, I'll be doing that shit. I'll be on Clay channel or Just Do, and Mark, you be going on too goddamn late. But people be like, man, you ain't making no video. You ain't going live. I'm like, shit, I was already cooking with them or listening.
Got your fix in. Sometimes you get your fix in. I'm like, I said everything I want to say for the night. I'm good.
Yep, Clay. Man, let me get your closing, man. Let everybody know, man, what time is going on next and where to find you at.
Clay More Rain. Look it up just like that. CLAYMORE Rain. I'm going on tomorrow at 3:00. Tuesdays and Thursdays, by the way, 3:00. That's going to be the schedule for me. And obviously, don't miss my my commentary on Saturdays.
3:00 for you ain't 3:00 for everybody.
Well, 3:00 Eastern Standard.
So
3:00 Eastern Standard, and definitely if you can't catch that, definitely don't miss me on Saturdays. I call the fights. That's what I love to do. So yeah, you catch me on Saturdays. Look out for the thumbnails, man. I already got thumbnail out for tomorrow. See y'all there.
I'm gonna catch them. I'll be listening to you while at work, but you know, I'll be having playback. But you already know, man. Whether I'm listening while you live or playback, I'm listening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Dub, man, let them know where to find you at.
Man, Key, first things first, man. It's always good to see you back live, man. Anytime we get a chance to see you rocking, it's always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, Dub right side. I gotta pull up on Clay. Shout out to Clay. I always pull up on Martin Nash. Man, Key, it's always good to see you, my brother. It's been a long time. We done cook. I done watched you cook for a long time, man. The culture miss you. I'm gonna utilize that word. The culture miss you because you know, niggas, they out of order. And if I say they out of order, then it is what it is. They go call me out my name anyways, which is fun. I ain't got no problem with it.
This shit bad out here, man. It's bad out here. Man, I appreciate you, Mark Nash. He just gifted 5 memberships, man. I appreciate you, man. Always showing love and support, man. Always showing love and support, man.
Mark a good brother, man. He a good brother.
Mark, definitely solid.
Key, man. Hey, man, we've been looking for you, bro. We've been looking for you. I ain't lying to you. I ain't lying.
I'll be busy, dog. I'll be hella busy.
Nah, do your thing, man. Hey.
Everybody, I ain't gonna lie, man. I just be enjoying sitting back, watching the guys that I watch, the Claymore, Mark Nash when I can catch him. My man Just Do, Blue Blood whenever he go on, and just to my man Bang, just a couple, my man Tim Bradley. Shout out to my dude. Shout out to my dog Tim Bradley. I just enjoy watching other people that's really, really talking this boxing shit that ain't on that. Man, it's too much, like you said, man. It's too much of bullshit that go on with this content shit, man. Motherfuckers get to get to.
I gotta ask you, Keith. I gotta ask you the question. I done been on your platform for a minute, right? You know I rock with Devin, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Man, Devin getting stopped in this fight. And I hate to say it. But it is what it is. They done kicked me out the quote-unquote Hanos clan. They done kicked me out, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Hey. I just say it like this. I'm going to say it like this, man. I see a lot of shit going on where people think this shit is a game. like gang type of mentality. If you like this fighter, you can't like this fighter and all that shit, man. But let's just be happy we getting a lot of these fights that we getting. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest Devin Haney fan, but I respect him. You know what I'm saying? I respect him for getting in the ring and putting it on the line. A lot of these fighters ain't doing that. A lot of these fighters ain't willing to do that. So, you know, I got B Norm. I got B Norm stopping him. But, you know, hey, man, may the best man win at the end of the day.
Man, we did this a long time ago. Man, and I say this respectfully. Man, shout out to Batman. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Batman. Shout out to Coach. Those are the two. Those are two individuals that I would love to hit them and break this shit down right now. I would love, man. Shout out to both of them brothers, man. Like I miss both of them, and I think you know we all been on the same platform together. But man, Keith, appreciate you. Anytime you go live, man. If I get a chance to catch you, you know I'm gonna rock with you. Much love to the chat, and I'm out, man. Hey,
yes, sir.
As Rick Timms would say, the real peace sign, man. The real peace sign. Salute.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. God bless. And man, y'all, we will be back, man. I'm gonna try to get on here tomorrow, do a live, because I didn't even talk about the rest of the fights on the card. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. You already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.